Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Synth Geekery. Hey, did you like that? That's pretty nerdy, isn't it? Episode 249. Welcome to another Saturday. You guys have made it this far through the week. Give yourselves a pat on the back. It's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you with a lisp. Enjoy your Star Wars themed show. I don't actually have a Stormtrooper outfit. I thought I would just look like an old fart with synths, and I thought that would probably be almost like Obi-Wan Kenobi. I could probably wear a hood or something. That might do for you guys. Anyway, nice to have you all here. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everyone that supports the show straight off the bat, because it's overdue. So here's a big thank you to the Patreons. I have updated this list, so hopefully this is accurate. And also to our channel members, and equally thank you to those guys. The channel members will notice that they've got a new little channel member icon next to their name as well in the chat. So that is always cool. And if you guys do want to support the show, there's so many different ways you can do it. You can do it like the guys here are doing it. You can actually become someone on the show and show your face and have a chat to us. It's a talkback show. And to do that, all you got to do is jump on to Zoom, and Zoom is up and running, and you guys are more than welcome to do that. You can do that right now in your undies if you want. Warners first. Or you can become a Patreon at patreon.com/Ranzee, or you can become a channel member. Literally below here, you will see a join button if you haven't done that before. And, all the proceeds go to the beer drinking fund. No, just kidding. The proceeds actually keep the power on the lights on and this show going. And we are in our 5th year, so it's nice to have the support. And a big thank you to Smithy, who's put $50 through. Good on you, mate. I'll just quickly go to that. Hey, that worked. Look at that. Nice. Thank you so much, Smithy. Appreciate that. And it's late at night over there, so he's up in the boondocks. Yeah. He did tell me earlier that it's a long day for him Saturday, because he's up early watching the Pro Synth Network, and he stays up late. It's almost a 24-hour affair for you, mate. Anyway, so you guys can see all of the people who are in the chat who are channel members already, because they've got a little keyboard icon, which is part of the Synth Geekery logo, as you guys know, next to the name, and it's different colors, and the different colors mean different things. If you're wondering what those different colors mean, it's basically to do with longevity in as membership. So that gives you a little chart there if you're ever wondering. So yeah, we've got a few people that have got the after 24 months. So they're doing really, really well. Anyway, so let's head on to the rest of the show. We'll start off by saying hello to the Chatties for a change. Nice to have all the Chatties here, and it's amazing to have you guys take time out in your day and put up with us, I guess. Big thank you to all the channel members, as I mentioned before, like Stephen Smith and Keith and Watford and David, who are in there already. And also, there's probably a few more. Kent Spong, I think I saw as well earlier, so that's good to see. But there's also other people like Daniela and Kosh Dukai and Paul Holmes. Big hello to you guys. Wilderness Music. And we've also got Human Error, who's an awesome person. Everyone else is awesome as well. Andy Synchrotron, I think I mentioned. Wagoo, he's actually one of our Patreons. X101's there. And the list scrolls on forever. And I've probably missed a whole bunch of people, but I don't do it on purpose. It's just that this stupid thing scrolls and it becomes nasty. Look at that. Human Error joins right in front of everyone. Look at that. Good on you, mate. Welcome to the LFO. You could probably put that through a vocoder. Welcome to the LFO. Sorry, I'm not going to do any more reverb. That's enough for today.
That's a bit of time. It's something in the show. I just know it.
No, it's not. It's not. Anyway, nice to have all of our video guests here. We've got Daren next to me. There's Daren there. I just punch him in the side of Daren's there. Next to Daren, if Daren just moves his head to the other side, he'll headbutt Andy, who's right on the other side of the ditch. Yeah, Andy's there. And then below me, like, how lucky are we to have such an awesome guy? Henrik's here. Thanks so much. JX3D, you guys know him as. Thanks for dropping in at late notice, I guess. And he's taking Ian's spot, so big shout out to Ian. He can't join us today. He's got some personal things he's going through, and I just wanted to have a shout out to Ian and just say take care, mate, and hope it all, hope the family is going well and traveling okay. Also, Chris is in the middle down the bottom, and I guess anyone who joins in Zoom will appear in that bottom right hand corner. So yeah, I dare you. I dare you. Anyway, let's get on with the show. We'll start off with the hellos, and why don't we start off with Henrik, because we haven't had him. It says Ian J. Cole. Don't worry about that. I'll fix it up in a sec. It's just that the titles hasn't refreshed on the computer yet. How are you, mate? How's your week been, and your months and your years and all that sort of stuff?
Up and down. But first I have to say there's nothing wrong about your reverb. It's spring.
Very good.
And then, on my last Senior Sense show or stream, I talked about that I should have chosen another name. So, and that was because I had to go to the toilet all the time. And I've been in the hospital about it, and it's great. It's nothing bad. I really feared the worst. So it's
good to hear,
bad.
Henrik.
So I'm over the hard part, and everything will be fine now. So,
okay, well, it's a relief to hear that, mate, and I'm glad.
Yeah. So and then I'm preparing for Super Booth. It's quite soon.
2 weeks.
And I've saved some money, so this time, for the first time, I've wanted to do it for 5 years or something like that. This time it will happen. So, and I bought camera and a lot of stuff to do some things down there. I will not do live streams. It's not possible. The connection is too bad down there.
Yeah, there's too many people on the mobile networks at the same time.
Yeah, but I will put on some videos every evening that I do during the day.
Fantastic! Oh, you'll love it, mate. You'll have an absolute ball. Yeah. I bet you're excited.
Really yeah, I am. So that would be great. And then I have a stream tonight where we will not talk Super Booth. We did that the last time. Mm-hmm. We will talk about AI, and I think that will be fun too. So.
Yep, I'm just going to copy your. Actually, I didn't. I was just going to copy your YouTube channel into the chat, but I have got your Bandcamp here instead. Let me just grab it.
Just put it there.
Yeah, I'll chuck it. I'll chuck it in the chat for everyone so that they.
Yeah, but it's okay. I think people know where to find it, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Else, we don't have many viewers, so it's okay if
there it is.
If we don't get two more.
There it is.
So,
it's in chat. Awesome. Yeah. All right, beautiful. We'll head on over to the other side of the other ditch, and that's Daren there. In fact, you had to kind of
ditch.
The other ditch, yeah, the Denmark to the English Channel, really, isn't it?
Yes.
Denmark to the UK. It's more like the English.
Yeah,
Channel.
English Channel.
Yeah.
I'll see.
Yeah. How are you, mate? How's your week been?
Pitter pottering about, I think. I've just been trying to finish off the remixes because there's an extra one, I think, extra two on there, and that one that I mentioned a while back that I lost, I found part of it, so I managed to sort of rework something out of what it was. So, yeah, and then just pottering around with a live set and not doing a great deal, to be honest. I ordered some foam, so I've got some foam, but But other than that, yeah, it's been sort of just a messing about sort of week when I get the chance.
Good. Fantastic. Should we...
That's what. Yeah, that's it.
That's
Nothing to really report. I say the remixes are coming on. They'll be hopefully out soon, and hopefully Jamie will be doing a Blackpool EMOM. In which case, if he does, I'll be playing there. Other than that, yeah, it's quite weak.
Yeah, shout out to Jamie, who we all know as Geosynths. You guys will probably know his YouTube channel is Geosynths. So I know he's been he's had some trouble getting the EMOMs together for other reasons, but it's good if he can get one going. That's awesome for him, because it means he's on the mend, and good stuff. And it'd be nice to see Daren there, of course. Who else have we got?
I hoped to be there.
Andy, are you ready, mate? We've got side of your head. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. What's
How
up?
are you, mate?
Yeah, usual. Then poking around here and there. Was on a show with Eddie yesterday, the Six Oscillators show, guitars and synths and such. It was kind of fun. Kind of went on for a while. It was about a 3-hour show. Normally it's about 2 hours, but there's get going on some tangents here and there, and then eventually comes back to the show plan, and so it was fun. Lots of good stuff going on there. Looking forward to Hendrik's show later today about AI and how it's destroying the music industry and everything else. And
hot topic.
There's a lot of amazing. I've been catching up on some stuff I've been behind on for a while. It's just it's getting actually really good, which is very sad for the industry. It used to be kind of like haha, like Songsmith and stuff. You're like, oh, this is kind of crappy, but somewhat useful, but not really. It's not going to replace anybody. But it's getting to the point now where people are doing classical and R&B and techno and other kinds of stuff with it that's quite convincing with zero effort. It's very sad. Yeah, that's about it. Other than that, just booked a trip to Monroeville Mall next month for Living Dead weekend. So I'm going to hang out with real and fake zombies at the official Dawn of the Dead Mall. So should be excellent.
Fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you'll love that. I know
we'll be live streaming and all kinds of stuff there. So it'll be fun.
You'll absolutely love that, mate. I know you like that sort of stuff. So,
oh yeah,
Tom Savini. Remind me to mention the Stephen King thing after we say hello to Chris first.
Hello.
Hey, Chris. How's your week been?
Hey, my week's been pretty good. I finished the VCS 3A build. Whoops.
It's gone black.
It's gone black. That was meant to be a picture of my B camera of the VCS 3.
It's gone off. There we go.
Oh, I see what's happened. Just a sec.
See, Chris, you're discovering what I have to put up with every week, mate.
Yeah, but I've got cables going all over the place and stuff like that.
I do too. There it is.
See, that's perfectly seamless. I don't know what everyone was fussed about. Yeah, okay, the green one on the left. That's my build. Because it looks a bit different from the one on the right. Because that's the one that, with the high resolution potentiometer and built by the man himself, feedback modules. So I got that done. Let's go back here. So that went pretty well, though I had to stop for instructions, and he very kindly gave me the instructions because he mentioned that he hasn't actually finished the build manual yet. So I was guinea pig.
Wow.
That was. I'm glad I didn't know before I went in. I wasn't intimidated. I just went, oh, this should be fairly straightforward. He hasn't given any instructions. And then I just asked a few questions, and he said, oh, well, here's all the stuff you need to do. It's like, I'm glad I asked. Excellent. No, he's just snowed under. He's fulfilling orders, and he hasn't had time to actually get the build manuals up.
Busy as hell, that guy.
He's busy as hell, yeah. I think he's going to be on his way to Super Booth by the sounds of it. On his movements.
Maybe he is.
Hopefully, maybe he is. Hopefully, he'll have fun there. Cool. Well, other than that, I had to do a modification to it. I had to swap out one of the resistors with a slightly higher value because I wasn't quite getting 1 volt per octave tracking. So
just a quick thank you to JP. Sorry to interrupt there. Just a big thanks to JP Page 2 to help hire a few more electrons and some fiber optically trained photons. That's really cool, mate. Thanks very much. That's awesome. Sorry, Chris. Because they do scroll off the screen, so we do need to jump onto them. Right?
That's completely fine, mate. I've been designing a 3D printed stand that goes on my Mini Freak stand to hold my TR6S drum machine, and it folds up when I'm not using it. So that's being printed by my buddy. That was some stuff from what I was talking about before. By the way, that's what you have to do for the temperature compensation, Rants.
Yeah.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it makes sense.
So it does make sense. It completely makes sense.
Because it's thermal, right?
Oh, exactly. Yes,
Yep.
It needs to be thermocoupled.
Yep.
Do I have anything else? Oh, yes. As my friend is printing that 3D thing now as we speak. Thanks, buddy. I've started editing the Cable Monster video. I've continued editing my music video. I've been auditioning the free Arturia preset Stellar Infinity, which we got last week, I think, from the Mini Freak. Some of them are quite good, actually. I got more surplus electronics this week, including some mystery parts where I'm going, what am I going to use that for ever? I don't know. I'll have to invent something. I've also been writing my first OFX plugin, which is a video plugin thing. Henrik will probably know what I'm talking about there. And lastly, it was Bandcamp Friday yesterday.
It was.
So I grabbed a bunch of music that I've been digging lately. So that's been my week. So it's been pretty good.
Awesome. Well done. We got through them. Yay! Well done, guys. And if you do want to join us, I keep mentioning it, but I'll keep mentioning it throughout the show. You can jump on and you can leave as soon as you want or stay as long as you like. That's the link to get onto Zoom. And we'll love to have you. There's a spot for 100 of you if you want. Don't think I've ever made that record anyway. My week has been busy with other stuff. So there's no real sort of synth news coming out of my week, so I'll just skip me this week. But we do actually have a lot of stuff to get through on the show, product-wise. So the news section is probably going to take up most of the show, and we'll do a little bit of Star Wars 4th, May the 4th. We did this about, I think it was about 4 years ago or 3 years ago. Daren, you might remember. It was just you and Brooksy and me.
I think it will be quite a few years back, yeah.
We might go and revisit some of that footage just to make it easier so I don't have to do it again. Okay, there's definitely going to be a lot of people here that wouldn't have watched it because, 4 years ago was a long time ago. We will go straight into the segments. If you're new here, sit back and enjoy these. Here they go. Starting with some of these, I'm pretty sure someone sent me that. Who was it that sent it to me? Did I write down the name on the picture? That'd be a good question. I forgot who sent it to me. Sorry, I'm going to be in trouble now. Someone definitely messaged me. Anyway, it's a funny one. That's the most important part.
I think I've seen it before with DX7.
Yeah.
Or FM, something like that.
Anyway, we'll keep going next. And there's Mrs. Doubt Firestarter. Sorry, that one was just... I thought it was quite clever. Not really synth related, but yeah.
No, Prodigy related.
Prodigy related. They use synths. Then we've got this one. Now, this one, maybe I might go full screen on this, see if we can make this better for you guys. I got this mousetrap, How does it work? The mouse sit in this dirty desk, they cool the studio and tweak the synths without making any real music, and then 30 years go by. Look, it's working! Whoa! Now they're arguing about supremacy of analog over digital in synth meme group. Oh, burn. That one's not very nice. But got a few laughs. Next one is this one. This meme shelf is empty. Please leave some offerings to help fill it up. I think that's probably a good relevant thing for us today. Dear me. What about this one? Synthesizers will get you laid out on the sidewalk by your high school bully.
I have to ask the guy I think of, but I think I know the guy on the picture.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think he looks a lot like John Lemcool from Plugin Ghoul.
You reckon that's John? You reckon that's Skippy?
I think it's John. I have to ask him.
Jeez.
Wow.
But I think it's him.
Yeah, maybe. It's a bit of resemblance. Anyway, either that or he's going to kill us. And the next thing, these memes write themselves. This is Eventide Audio's post on Facebook. And now for another rendition of Name That Rack Mount. We've got Name That Synth on this show. And now they've got Name That Rack Mount. Drop your best guesses below. And during the week, they announced what it was. It was the
H9000.
H9000, whatever. Something like
I
that.
don't know. I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
It's the only one.
It's one of those. But they brought out a new plugin, so it was relevant to that.
Okay.
But yeah, they just wanted to be like me and have a segment called Name
Sue
That
them.
something.
Sue them for copyright.
Nah, never sue those guys. They're awesome.
No.
There's still a couple more to go. We've got the next one, which is, are you staring at my rack? That was a bit daring, that one.
Yes and yes.
And this one, it's not hoarding if your shit is cool.
Yeah, that's that one rings true for me.
All right, there we go. There's your memes for the week, people. Hope you enjoyed them.
Did you see the one about PWM? Have you seen that one?
Was that the one we showed last week?
No, this is a new one. As far as I know, it's a
one.
cartoon one. Let me put the link in the chat. Maybe you want to show this one.
All right. Anyway, it's
Private chat.
we can show it next week.
You missed the deadline.
There's the Doorless Jams. There's the Mrs. Doubt Firestarter. There's the Mousetrap. There's the Empty Meme Shelf, which is probably more true than anything else. There's Synthesizers Will Get You Laid, which is probably my favorite. There's Eventide Audio. Are You Staring at My Rack? And the last one, which is It's Not Hoarding if it's your shit is cool. So,
I like the Mousetrap.
let us know in the chat which one you like the most. And you guys can let us know in chat as well, I guess.
Yeah, Mousetrap was pretty funny.
There we go. Doorless Jams got a lot. Doorless Jams. Delayed one. Oh, hoarding. Oh, geez, it's all over the shop, this one. This is going to be hard. Wow. How are we gonna do this? George. I think it's going to be hoarding, the hoarding cushion, because that's just ringing true with all of us, isn't it? We all just have this little bit of guilt in us, thinking, "Do we really hoard? Are we really hoarding? No, we're not hoarding because our stuff is cool." I love it. All right, we'll give it to the hoarding one. I think that one wins the gong. There it is. There, if you guys don't remember it, I reckon we should all have that cushion on our lounge.
That's right.
All right, beautiful.
The good news is true hoarding is like old pizza boxes and newspapers and stuff. That's actually hoarding. So synths are okay.
Yeah. Oh, and do you remember those old shows that they used to have on those lifestyle channels with the hoarding houses and stuff?
Oh yeah.
Some
Actual
of those-
garbage. Yeah.
Some of those were like crazy
Horrific.
bad. Crazy.
They're health
bad.
hazards. Yeah.
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 What are we doing? News. Oh, we have got stuff to get through. Let's get through it. And I'm probably going to miss... To be honest, I'm probably going to miss a whole heap of stuff. We'll start with this one. There's still kind of trickles of stuff coming out of the end of the French Synth Fest, and this one was one of them. This is by We Noise Makers, and this is the PGB1. And the PGB1 is kind of like a, I don't know, like a Korg sort of handheld thing, like, you know, Volkers type thing, / Teenage Engineering / it's a sample player, basically. Sample player Groovebox. Who's not seen this yet? Surely you guys have seen this.
I haven't seen this. Yeah.
Yep, you seen it? All right. Why don't we?
I saw it before the show.
Yeah. Why don't we have a quick look at the vid anyway, and we can have a chat on the other end.
Yeah.
There we go, guys. That's the PGB1 by We Noise Makers. Now, this is what was the price of this? $249. And you can get it through Crowd Supply. And all the links will be in the blog article that you can see the link below. This is hackable. So this is what this sort of tweaked my interest, because it's hackable. You can actually customize this thing using CircuitPython, C or C++, and it also has Ada support, and you can program your own synthesizers. You can even make video games on this thing if you want to. It's probably one of those kind of little sort of, you know, funky play around, have some fun type devices, but it is at the same time, as it stands, what you're seeing there is actually a full entry-level sort of hardware synthesizer and a Groovebox. So, yeah, I kind of thought it was pretty cool. It's completely battery-powered, Daren. Bring you into the top right-hand corner as well while we've got you. It's battery-powered. It is... it has
tiny.
drum, bass, lead, samples. It is only 10 by 6.6 by 1.5 centimeters. It's tiny.
Yeah, this is the smallest screen ever. I know Daren won't like that.
Oh, no.
Yep.
That's for the borrowers.
No.
There was one other thing I wanted to find out. Okay, so they're comparing this. It's on actually on the blog article. I'll bring it up later. But they're comparing this to the PO33KO, the Sectrack, the IRA T8, the Volker drum, and the M8. And there's a little chart, and I'll bring it up in a sec when I get my act together. Where are we? I keep losing myself there. Okay, and we'll go there for a sec. All right, so let me just show you this little screen grab, because it's worth it. Because this is kind of like, why do I choose things to show on the show? Because people make claims about stuff, and I think they're interesting, these claims. All right, let's go to here. I'm sorry, Darren, it's going to take you off for a sec. There's the claim. So, the PGB1 is the one on the left here. I can zoom in slightly on this for you guys. So it fits in your pocket is the first one. And so if you look across, it's saying the PO33KO does, but no to the Sectrack. I would argue that the T8 probably does fit in your pocket. Just a big pocket. Just one of those cargo pants pockets.
Pants pocket, but not shirt pocket.
Yeah. And then you've got like, is it battery? And most of them are. And so that's not really, is it open source? And this one, where it's where it wins. Like if you look at all of those competition ones, this is the only one that's open source. The screen is, in some cases, it's better than all of theirs. In fact, I think in most cases. The voices was interesting because it's 8 voices but monophonic. And that's only because of the engine that they've done on it. So you could hack this and make it a polyphonic if you wanted to. Sample memory is, kind of an argument there. And the price is not the most cheapest, but it does include shipping, which is a pretty cool thing if you live in Australia, because shipping really, really sucks. Anything here, shipping sucks.
Yes, that's a good point.
Yep. Now, that's if you want it, of course.
Two things about that. How hard is it to manage your samples? That's usually a nightmare on these things. And the sound engines, I don't care how many it has, if they all sound bad. So the high number of sound engines doesn't necessarily mean anything.
It's an SD card because it uses the Pi RP 2040 processor.
Yeah.
And so the 2040 is starting to become, like, I think we were showing a DIY analog synth last week, which had the 2040s on there. They're starting to become really, really kind of household now. But the cool thing about the 2040 is that it does pretty decent audio I/O, and that's one thing I like about it. So you can do, in this, you can do 32-bit 48K audio on a tiny little box like this. It's pretty decent. User interface, it has one headphone chip driver with a stereo Class D speaker driver, and that's just Raspberry Pi stuff. So they're just hacking into the Raspberry Pi features, really.
Because the drums in there sounded tinny, so those are bad samples?
Probably bad. But
I have to say, the 2040 doesn't do much audio without extra hardware. So it's the extra hardware which can be bad or good.
Yeah, it might have a DAC on there, you're saying. Yeah. They did talk about RAM and, running a second core, and there's so this hacking community is starting to grow. There is a Discord server as well. So you would have seen that on the link that I was showing you before. But yeah, there you go.
Because in the defense of the pocket operators, it was a chipset that wasn't designed for music, but it does a very good job for what it is. Because it is repurposed for that. I read a whole thing on it a long time ago. So this is supposed to be geared around music, and the pocket operator, the chipset wasn't. It was leveraged for music, and it still sounds amazing. So I don't know. I'd have to hear more of the output of this.
There is another product that actually kind of came across my desk late today that kind of fits in with this as well. But if we get time, I might squeeze it on. But I haven't done any research on it, so it'll be kind of, we'll be flying blind. But anyway, we'll keep going. So that's pretty cool. What do we got next? We have some Make Noise products. We have the PrssPnt, and the next one, which I'm going to show you, is something different by them as well. So these 2 products from Make Noise. I think you guys who like to do the performing stuff with modular will like this for a couple of reasons. But we'll roll the vid and we'll come back.
The Make Noise PrssPnt is a controller in which several signals are generated by touching the printed copper wire at the bottom of the instrument. Touching PrssPnt, you become part of the circuit, generating a total of 4 signals. Press output. The signal is proportional to the amount of pressure applied. Smooth touch function. The timing and shape are determined by the amount of pressure applied and by the sensitivity and slew panel controls. Momentary gate. Press for gate high, release for gate low. Toggled gate. Press once for gate high, press again for gate low. All 4 signals are activated simultaneously by a single expressive finger. If you believe that CV and gates can be used to send people into strange new universes, then PrssPnt might be for you.
These guys are crazy. This is the video manual.
But wait, there's more.
Woohoo.
Tired of wasting maths channels?
Here's the
Say
next
hello to
product.
maths best friend.
So let's just pause that for a sec, and we'll go back to this. We'll talk about the next one in a sec. PrssPnt. Comments quickly before we go on to the next.
I mean,
kind of.
Oh, good.
Sorry, similar territory to the Belaglis. Belaglis has most of the front panel taken up with the touch controller. Where I'm noticing the difference with this is that it has a very cleverly designed simultaneous 4 different functions at once from the one single gesture, which is probably going to attract a lot of performers differently. Although I've heard people say they bought 4 glisses. Well, it sounds to me like this might be an option for those people who are thinking of buying 4 Belaglisses. So, yeah, that seems pretty quite well resolved. You know, they're smart people that make noise.
Mm-hmm.
This is more expressive than Renee, but
Yep.
I have pressure points already in the brains and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of similar territory. I also have the teleplexer. Have you seen that before?
Yep.
It's their, yeah. So I have some of the kind of stuff already from them. This is unique and it's small, which is nice. So maybe at some point, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Henrik.
Yeah, I like it. I wouldn't buy it myself. I'm done with mushrooms. So, but I see a use for it. For people doing live stuff and people experimenting and all that. It's not for my genre, but I see some really being able to use it.
Yeah. I think, Daren, did you want to say something quick, or you're good?
I think it was Chris. I would just what everyone said. Really, it's just a nice little controller, and like Andy said, it's small. So if you want to take some small modular setup, you're not going to take up half your modular setup just to get some sort of
It's
tactile
also pretty.
function. So
Yeah.
It's also pretty inexpensive, isn't it, Rant?
$89 US,
Yeah.
and it's only
Pretty
4
good.
HP.
Wow.
So, and that
good
for
price.
Make Noise, that's a damn good price, because Make Noise makes some good
It's
stuff.
unusual.
Well, I guess there's a couple of things, I don't know if it really kind of came through loud and clear on the video or not, but there's a couple of things that we need to sort of like raise about this. The touch point is a printed copper wire, and you're not just getting, like, it's not like the ears that Mutable Instruments made, which is a contact microphone type thing. It's not like some of these other ones that are out there. I think it kind of comes from their O-Coast stuff that they were doing, and some of their other modules that they were doing. And so this is like a collaboration of the development they've had over the years. This is actually kind of, it gives you more than just you touch it, it makes a CV thing, because you're getting the gate high, the gate low, you're getting the CV side of it, and you're also getting the attenuation on there as well. So it's actually quite expressive. It's not just basic like some of the other touch point modules, and that's what I like about it. I think it's a bit more than, I feel like it's more tweakable than a lot of the others that are out there. Andy, would you agree with that?
Yeah, especially since, Renee, I have version 1, which is famously not as sensitive as it. You have to turn it to max and then occasionally moisten your fingertips to get it to trigger.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird, but it is doable.
And a lot of people put the voltage amplifier to Renee so that it got more range out of it. Like, you're trying to increase.
I haven't heard about that part,
Yeah.
but that's interesting,
Yeah.
But the
two
idea is
things.
interesting, but it's weird.
Two things. You say moist fingers. I think you could lick it. That's one thing.
Well, that's the idea, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing.
You forgot to say baby after that, Henrik.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Lick it.
Is it only outputs? I can't remember. There was no inputs, right?
So the
The attenuator has an input.
Because I would like
the top left, wasn't it?
I think so.
The right ones both right ones were outputs. The left ones, I think they were outputs too, weren't they?
Let's go back.
One was for I can't remember the way you touched the plate.
Yeah, you might be right. It might be all outputs.
One was resistance, and the other was just.
Yeah. It is. It's all outputs. Yeah, no, you're right. It is.
I would like an external input, so you could connect it to another device or a microphone or something.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. All right. Now, next one is keeping everyone there. Is their other product called the Noise? The Make Noise Channel Saver, or Ch Svr, if you want to pronounce it like that. This one is. I'll go straight to the price, and we'll have a look at the video in a sec. This one is only $10 dearer than the previous one, and it's an extra 2 HP, so it's 6 HP. What does it do? It is a 3-channel signal processing module. Now, I'm going to quickly kind of explain it in my language, and then they will probably do a better job than me. But if you guys have ever owned a Make Noise Maths, this has kind of got bits of the maths on it. So in a way, you could look at this as a maths expander, or you could look at this as a simple maths. So in a way, it's basically a signal processing module. And what the channel 1 and 2, the top 2 ones, they offer is scale, amplify, and attenuate, or invert an incoming signal. And the difference between channel 1 and 2 is the DC offset by native. You can see probably a little hard to see on the graphic there, but you can see a little +5 on the top one, and the second one you can see a +8. So that gives you, without any input, it will do a +5 on channel 1 or a +8 on channel 2, and you can use the attenuverter on that as a DC offset, which is pretty cool. It can also be used as a crossfader on channel 3. So channel 3, you've got that crossfader with an in A and an in B just above it. Then you've got the mix inverted down the bottom. Now the mix inverted is also if you've got stuff going through channel 1 and channel 2. So that's the sum or the inverted sum of the two coming in. Or you can actually have channel 1 and channel 2 with their own outputs independently. You can see to the right of each of those two as well. So it's actually I feel this is actually pretty action-packed for what's in it. And I reckon a lot of people will use this for kind of all that sort of attenuated summing, inversing, that sort of, boosting sort of duties, that sort of stuff in your eurorack. And if you start getting into eurorack, you'll find these modules are so handy. All right, shall we have a quick look at the vid? It was a rhetorical question.
Tired of wasting maths channels?
Hi, Daren.
Say hello to math's best friend, Channel Saver. Channel Saver is a condensation extension of the sum, offset, attenuversion aspects of maths, continuing the great tradition of sculpting the control signals we use to sculpt our sound signals. Channels 1 and 2 are near identical, each being able to scale, amplify, attenuate, and invert an incoming signal. With no external signal applied, these channels will generate DC offsets, plus or minus 5 volts on channel 1, plus or minus 8 volts on channel 2. Channel 3 is a 2-input crossfader, with individual inputs for signals A and B. Input A is normal to ground, 0 volts, so that you can patch only input B to use channel 3 as a simple, non-inverting attenuator, or patch both inputs to smoothly fade from one to the other. All 3 channels are normal to a sum and inverted sum bus via their respective outputs, so that addition, subtraction, and inversion may be achieved. Channels 1 and 2 also have individual output jacks. Inserting a plug to these sockets will remove the associated signal from the bus. In this way, each of the 3 channels can be used independently or as part of a sum or inverted sum.
Right. Now, I have a maths, as you guys can see right here, sitting in my module. And there's a little space right next to it for the Ch Svr. Oh, didn't they bring that product out at the right time?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the Ch Svr? Who's a maths owner? I mean, obviously I am. I just showed you it. Who else has got a maths? Yeah, I know you did, Andy. None of you guys else have a math. No. It's interesting that you guys don't have one, because it's a rise and fall type function generator, right? That's really, there's two of them.
Yeah, but there are other tools in math.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's an analog computer basically. It's crazy.
Yeah. I have some of the expert. No, not expert. Those
I had something vague.
Clouds. I have some of those. They're modules for that.
Yeah. I think there's a Bafako one that's kind of similar, right? The Rampage, I think it was called.
Is it Tides? That does the same.
Yeah, kind of.
There's a smaller one that Rob and Vincent used to talk about to replace maths. It was smaller and similar featured.
Well, there is a one-channel version of maths as well, which Make Noise make.
Oh, I have that too. That's called Function.
Function. That's it. Yep.
It's half of maths.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is not maths.
No.
This is more like a small CV tool.
Yeah.
Those who make I can't remember their name. I have a tool where I can do all this stuff from a company that makes they make the C verb.
Tip Top.
No.
Yeah, Tip Top. Yeah. They have a tool like this, which is very good.
All right. Well, if you find out the name of it, I mean, jump onto Modular Grid, you'll probably find it out pretty quick.
I'll check it out now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, beautiful. We'll keep going, and obviously that's going to be very, very handy for those people who do run out of inputs and outputs on math, which I do, and I think it's going to be handy. Next is another Eurorack module. Don't worry, there's other stuff for those people who don't like Eurorack. But these things have come across my desk, and they've kind of skipped past the radar, especially with some of the big sort of websites that you see that publish some of these things. And Frequency Central seem to be a company that I don't know why they don't always get a lot of love from some of the bigger sort of websites, but they actually make really, really good stuff. And they're actually based in the UK, Daren, so they're not far. For you could probably drive there and stalk them if you wanted to. Anyway, this is the Dark Star by the
behalf.
This is the Dark Star. It's a 16 HP module, but what it is, it's actually a full synthesizer voice. And you'll love this, Daren, because it's actually based on the AS3340 chip, which is in what synthesizer?
Oh, I've got many of them.
Yes. What's the most famous one, though, that you've got?
The one that's squealing a bit.
Yeah, that's the one. Is it grey?
Yeah. It's very grey, yeah.
And it has a 101 in the name?
It does.
Yeah. So for those who don't know what our little hieroglyphics talk was just then, it is the voice chip that's in the famous SH101 and many other synthesizers, as you guys already know. Is it in the Pro 800, the Behringer Pro 800? I think it is, isn't it?
Possibly.
I think they've got a whole bunch of these in there.
There's so many different 3340
variations. Yeah. Well, this is the AS variation. This is the AS variation. But you can tell with this description, you can see with your eyes, this has got sawtooth, triangle, and pulse. That is an SH101, right? Voltage control filter with low and high pass options. It's drive control. So the thing about the 3340, it was pretty much, a chip that made a lot of sense, and we actually do sort of like this sound. It was successful. So why not have a synth voice in your Eurorack that emulates this? The VCF part of it does have a drive control and a sweep control, which attenuates the amount of release control voltage. There's a release generator with a CV input for voltage control of the release time, an option for sustain via a jumper on the rear panel. So you can manipulate the envelope generator a little bit. It's just to save a bit of space. Because some people don't really, like when you think about it, some people don't use that part. They use something else more, and you might be one or the other, or you might not like it. If you don't like it, then you can use your own envelope generator and pipe it through it. So it's not. That's a good thing about Eurorack.
Yeah.
The VCA is part of it. Together, it's pre-patched, so you don't have to patch anything. You can literally just plug your volts per octave input in and send it out to your favorite amplifier, and away you go. But additionally, there is a whole bunch of pat points on here that you can do pulse width modulation. You can have the gate input for release or sustain/release. There's CV control for release time, as I mentioned before. There's a VCF audio input with an attenuator for introducing external audio, so you can bring something else in through that filter if you want to. There's VCA audio input, which the VCF is normalized through. And there's also VCO audio output, as you would expect. There's VCF audio output, and there's VCA audio output on this thing. So it's pretty handy. Pretty full on. And it's only $300. When you consider this is a full synth voice, right? It's only $300. Probably not quite as cheap as some of the Behringer ones out there, but just remember these are a boutique company, and they do have a video. Hooray! Let's have a look. We're not going to watch the 5 minutes, but the first part we watch. There we go. There's the Dark Star. Yes, it did have some effects. Okay, we didn't hear the raw voice, but you guys can go check it out yourself. There's more in that video. I just thought that sounded very familiar, those waveforms. We would have heard them on many synths, and it definitely sounded very, very true to a 3340. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
But on the video, I was also watching the module at the left. It looks very nice.
Oh, yes. Now, he does talk about that in the video. And he actually talks about the reason why he made the Dark Star as well. So you're talking about the, is it the Acropoly or something? The one that was on the left? It's kind of like a preset generator for CV.
Okay.
And then I noticed one thing. I haven't been looking for new modular stuff for a while. So now I noticed a thing that really annoys me about these videos, and that's they always put their hands on the thing so you can't see it. I know it's small, but
if only we had invisible hands.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But I like this.
What about you, Daren? Did you hear your SH101 in there?
Well, not my SH101, but I did hear a 101. Yeah, it's with it being, I like the modules that are like all baked into one as such, so you can still play it off the bat, even though you can do a lot more, a bit like Platts and things. So it just makes it easier for, well, one, it saves space, and two, it makes it easier if you only want a really, really small setup. And easier to learn, I think, because you don't have to worry about having, envelope generators and all the other, when you get your big modular kits going. I like them when they're all sort of compact into a single module.
Yep. One of the cool things about this too, I should mention, is that Frequency Central are one of those businesses that will let you DIY their stuff. So you don't actually have to buy this fully assembled. If you did, it would cost you about $500 Australian or $300 US, as I mentioned before. But you can buy the fully, not assembled, but the fully packed kit, which includes all the PCB, the chipsets, the panel, and all the parts for only £125. So it's literally half the price. And all you have to do is a bit of labour and put it together. So that's insane.
Yes, please.
That is insane. So I'll be clicking buy on that. So they're using the LM13700.
I like that.
There's two of them, and obviously the AS3340 chip as well. And if you have a lot of that stuff lying around, you could just buy the panels and the PCB for £50. And some people do. So I reckon Kent would probably have most of that stuff lying around. So he could easily put one of these together with just the PCBs and panels. So yeah, there you go. Frequency Central. Hats off to you guys. That sounds amazing. I think it's going to be it's going to be a cracker, that one.
How do you reckon this compares to something like the Crave from Behringer? Totally different sound, or? It certainly the filter sounded different to me.
Yeah.
But it's kind of gave me the same kind of, it's kind of that sort of setup, that kind of configuration.
I want to know what
I
want to know what he used for the filter. That's what I want to use.
Yes, the thing is it's the filter that's playing a big role in that.
I have a feeling, and this is just purely guess. So, Frequency Central, if you're watching, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's done a lot of System 100 stuff. He's done their as DIY modules as well. I wouldn't be surprised if that's like a Roland-based, maybe a System 100 style filter on it, which is probably what you're hearing. To me, that was kind of what I was hearing anyway. Yeah. Whereas the Crave has if I remember rightly, doesn't the Crave have like a Moog ladder style filter?
Moog style ladder filter, yeah. I know it sounds different. I couldn't put my finger on why it was, but it's definitely.
But it's a 3340 chip in it, so that's why you're getting that slight different sonic palette.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah. But like I said, once this thing is completely patchable, so if you don't like the filter in it, you can patch the oscillator somewhere else in your system. Like you could patch it into your little Wasp filter if you wanted to, you know.
There's a small version of the Wasp. They just released a small version.
Dopefer have just released a smaller HP version of the Wasp filter. Yeah. Didn't make it onto the show, but do check that out.
So many modules.
I know.
So
all right.
Time.
We do have another one to show you, and then another one, and then we won't show any more after that. So stick around. The next one is this, which is the Bananalogue. It's a VCS. Now, Bananalogue VCS. This is the VCS 2, by the way. And the reason why it's called the VCS 2 is because there's two VCSs in it. And for those who don't know, the Bananalogue, what's the other thing? Oh, God, I'm running out of memory here.
VCS 3 style trapezoid.
I forgot the name of it. Sorry, there's a name that they go by. Anyway, this is a Buchla style module for Eurorack. And
contour generator.
They have not brought this thing out since 2012, and to bring this out with two modules in it, I thought it was actually a pretty cool thing. It is, where are we? It's two slew generators, which is similar to maths in that sense. It's a 9 HP module, so it's a function generator if you want to give it a real sort of technical name, but it has. What I like about it is that the VCF, the original one that they brought out, was actually a unity gain voltage follower. And so you get that. It's similar to maths in that sense. You get the rising and falling slopes. And then they can be independently or jointly controlled over a wide range with those with CV or those attenuators. And as a result, this is kind of one of these utility modules again, Henrik, like we talked about earlier with the Make Noise stuff. But just to give you an idea of what you can do with this, okay? So think Buchla, think Analog World, think FM, think PM, all that sort of stuff. You can do a transient envelope generator with this. If any of these are stuff that you need me to explain more, let me know. You could do portamento with this. You could use an oscillator. You could use this as an LFO. You could use this as a non-linear audio processor, an envelope follower, a pulse delay, or even a sub-harmonic generator. So that's just a list.
That's one more function. You can use it for show-off.
So look at my Bananalogue. So $220 is what they're asking for this, which I think is a steal considering the original was more expensive and you only got one VCS. So yeah, and a lot of, if you ever go to Mod Wiggler's website forum, there were so many people that used to rave about the VCS module. It was basically a go-to module to have in your kit. And so it's great these guys are bringing it out anyway. Anyone want to make comment about this? No video, by the way. Oh, there is an Instagram thing, I think.
I like it. It's simple. It's
Yeah, it looks nice.
what you see is what you get. It's not like when I use tights where I have to remember what are these functions and what this LED is lighting. So this is something I like.
Yeah, it's on. What did it sign me out? It's on Reverb to buy it, by the way. So these guys, their store is actually literally a Reverb store. So I'll just bring that up for you guys to have a look at here quickly, so that you can see a better picture of it. There you go. The price is Australian dollars that you can see here because I'm in Australia, if you haven't wondered by my weird accent. There is it in all of its glory and a couple of other pictures, sides and backs, and that's the one I decided to use because you could see all the different waveforms that it generates, which I thought was cool. Really
Try
cool.
to show the back picture again.
Surge, that's the thing. That's the name I was trying to come up with, Andy. This is the VCS Surge module, the DUSG.
I mean, it's similar to Buchla stuff.
It is.
Yeah, they both came out of Cal Arts down in Southern California. So
yeah, exactly. So there you go.
Is it a switch in the middle on the back? I'm always curious for tweaking things. I can see there's a pod meter.
That there.
Yeah.
Is that a jumpers, isn't it?
Switch, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
I can't see.
And there's a pod meter just above on the left.
And to the
right.
That is a trimmer.
jumpers.
Don't forget this. So these are. If I was to put a line through there where that mouse is, that's an identical circuit there, and that's an identical circuit down the bottom. So that's a trimmer pot there. Yeah. That's a trimmer pot there. But you're talking about this here. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah. But there's also another one here too. To run
serial or parallel?
I think they're just surface mount diodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just surface mount diodes.
Yeah, they're diodes because it's got a D.
Yeah. Fooled us.
Bad luck.
And I thought they were jumpers there, but that's actually the power.
Oh, I almost bought it.
Shows how much we know.
You and your jumpers.
Yeah.
Well, that's my job.
So what's my jumper? No. Anyway, that's the VCS2. Next one, yes, another eurorack module is the Plume by Hieroglyphic. And this one, oh my God, just stop bringing out modules that really interest me. It's not a bad thing. But it's actually a pulsar synthesizer. What? What's a pulsar synthesizer?
Astronomy.
It's an 18 HP module that is basically a fully fledged pulsar synth. For those who love pulsar synths, they don't know what it is. It uses a principle adopted from the Curtis Rhodes white paper, Sound Composition with Pulsars. There you go. Go check that out. I haven't checked it out, but it sounds really interesting in that sense that it actually presents an approach to sound and rhythm that is somewhat different than what we've seen before, and that's why I like it.
Non-conventional.
It's a
non-conventional music.
It's a cross between an oscillator, a granulator, and a clock generator. And
the controls are interesting.
Yeah. And you can get sort of some really, really kind of interesting sounds out of it. Now, there is I have really difficulties showing these Instagram videos, but I'm going to try.
Also very, very tiny.
And I like
screen
it
on that
because there's a button so you can use it with a mask on.
Yeah. All right, let's have a look. See if we can get this video to work.
Jack here for mask.
Obviously a wave folder. So we're looping now, are we? I kind of wanted to see more about the masking and window stuff down the bottom in the video, because that's what I was kind of interested in.
I thought I saw another video.
I thought I did too.
I wonder
but
where I saw that.
Yeah,
it was
We'll
kind
see
of,
if we can-
but it was demonstrating its kind of non-traditional musical type of structure. It was basically a little bit noise-like, but it was really cool as well.
If we can find it, flick it to me and I'll show it on the show. One thing I want to mention, so for you guys who aren't into Eurorack, I just want you to remember, Andy Synchrotron just mentioned that there is a pulsar synth in the disting, which is just it's a digital algorithm synth. I actually haven't checked that out yet, so this would be a lot more hands-on controllable than what you could do with a disting, though, because a disting is very limited with controls. But the other thing too is that when you see stuff being developed and then it sort of makes its way to Eurorack, usually this stuff ends up in desktop and keyboard-based synths as well. So so don't knock Eurorack development, because I find it quite cutting edge a lot. I feel like we see stuff 10 years in some cases before they arrive at a desktop module or a keyboard module. So that's food for thought. Anyway, that's going to cost you €280, which isn't too bad.
The image of it really sells it to me, but the video you just played sounded scary to me. I'm not going to buy it because of that. I hope they are doing more videos where it sounds better, because
it looks like
it
an
looks good,
IntelliGel module.
but it also has to sound good.
Yeah. But don't forget, a lot of synth voices don't sound good until you start mucking around with them through filters and effects, and you shape them, right? So this is probably more just
Yeah, but why do you need it if you have to drown it in effects? Then you can drown what you already have in the same effects and get the same sound.
It'll be dependent upon what does the pulsar synthesizer bring to the table that hasn't already been invented. That will probably be my level of investigation with this. So more information, please, for the Plume. It would be kind of the important thing.
It looks
here.
awesome.
Yeah. I kind of felt it sounded a little like a granular synth with wave folding. That was kind of a real sort of easy way to sort of summarize it. But I feel like it's much more than that. I feel like it's got a bit of mutable instruments kind of influence in this, even the way it looks. Even if you look at that, it kind of has a bit of a mutable instruments kind of look and feel to it. So I wonder if it might be one of those back projects that never made it, to fruition. I wonder if it was an Emily project that never made it. Anyway, that's Plume. I promise you there's not much more than this last one, which is the Tone Hack. And the Tone Hack, I reckon you guys are going to like this. I really do. This is by Atonal Circuits. The Tone Hack is a lo-fi synth. Now, you guys probably watched PrssPnt Network yesterday, and they were showing with Chris Lodi. Chris is awesome, so big shout out to Chris. They showed the new lo-fi version of the sample track. Basically, it was called the Lo-Fi 12, I believe. That's what it's called. XT, yep. And this kind of lo-fi synth stuff is filtering its way everywhere. I think Sonicware are leading the charge on it, but it's nice to see some stuff in Eurorack. I believe anyway, and especially a small module, because this thing is actually only about I think 6 HP or 8 maybe I think it's about 6 HP as a sort of look. I actually need to check that out on Modular Grid. Anyway, it's only 133 euros for this module, and there is a video. So you can see him just going through a whole bunch of things. One thing I would ask him to do is remove that sound every time you press that thing. Anyway,
it's a bit loud, and
that was annoying. But this thing, it's 4 voices of polyphony. There's 99 tones stored in it, and they can be changed, I believe, some way. I'm not sure. It doesn't really go into how. But there is a chord mode, so you can create your own 4-note chords, and you can recall, transpose, and invert chords as well. So, and it also has MIDI. So this is how you do polyphony. That's not the module with the effects.
Is it quantized?
I don't know, but there is CPU clock modulation on this. But that's QTZ might be quantized. Yeah, that might be.
Because I was thinking of how it would sound if you entered some of the tones.
And just remember too, this is lo-fi, so it's not going to sound beautiful, right? It is specifically. I like the chord version, because they use the Create Audio Cells module to do this. This was really cool.
Me too. Yeah.
So he goes in, and what he's doing now is he's setting the chords, and you just dial it in. It doesn't take long to do this. And we're not going to go through this. He's going to speed the video up in a sec, don't worry. There you go, there's your chord. Lo-fi, of course, don't forget. Now, is he going to do it? Here we go. That's for you, Andy.
Yeah.
So you can enter the
So many
chords that
different
way.
ways. Yeah.
He's just showing that you can enter it through.
MIDI. Yeah. And then he snaps it. Come on.
Right. Here we go. Speeds it up.
Here we go.
Right.
Bring on the house.
What happened to editing?
Yeah. Come on. Where is it?
Just edit the damn video.
Here it is. Sorry, it's probably already... I just wanted to show you how he enters it. Here we go. That's just a gate maker, that odds. Anyway, I just thought that was a pretty interesting module. Just with all the varying different things that you can do with it. And I mean, obviously it's a digital sample playing based type module, and remembering too, it's not going to sound amazing, but it is lo-fi.
Well, and it's not that lo-fi compared to hip hop lo-fi. That's the real lo-fi. So,
well, that was the next question I had was how lo-fi can you get this thing to sound? Like, does it have?
You go through in Sonic Mirage or something like that. That's lo-fi.
Yeah.
So.
But the fact that it's got MIDI, it's got 4 gate inputs. It does, like Henrik pointed out, it does quantizing. I thought it was quite intuitive on how you actually made chords with it.
But I would also like if it could disable quantizing.
I heard you say that. Yeah, it would probably be good. There might be something on their website. Atonal.be is the website for it. There's not a lot of information on their website, to be fair.
It doesn't. Just looking at the manual now. Basically, the last page of the manual is the first time they mention what your voices are, and that's it.
Yeah, it probably needs a bit
Can you
more.
post the Zoom link?
So
Eddie's trying to get in to Zoom.
Zoom link is pinned, guys. It's pinned on the chat.
top. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
I didn't see that. Yeah.
Every
See that,
week.
Eddie, go to the Zoom link.
Pinned. Yeah. So that's the tone hack anyway. 133-ish euros. If you're into lo-fi, eurorack, sample-based playing stuff. Probably not for me because I feel like I can do that with my MPC right here. But remembering too, if you've got a little demo sort of module skiff that you're taking out with you for doing jams in public, like a EMOM or something like that, and all you want is that sort of house-based chord trigger thing to sound like he's doing on that. I mean, that would probably be such a cool module for that sort of stuff. Just do those little gated house chords. If that's the sort of sound that you like, that housey sort of stuff. Yeah. Last of the Eurorack.
Yeah, I think it's a good module for people with not many money. It's for them.
It's nice and small. It doesn't take up a lot of space.
If they are beginners,
What's the street price, Ranzee?
133 euros. Did I say it was 6?
Okay.
It was 4 HP. I think I said it was 6 HP. It's actually 4 HP.
It's 4.
Sorry, Henrik.
But
You keep going.
I was about to mention that it's cheap, but I also have to mention at the moment ASM, all the synthesizers are very cheap at Thomann. Very, very cheap.
Not for us.
So,
Might be for you guys in Europe, but
so
not
you
for
have
us.
to check that out.
Because if I was to buy a M3 screw off of Thomann, or if I was to buy a Behringer Crave, it's the same postage, which is 50 euros.
Or some brackets for your Behringer rack mounting.
And if I buy some at Thomann for a certain price, the duty is very expensive.
The duty, and there's the duty on top. Yeah, exactly. We have the same problem, Andy. Anyway, let's get out of Eurorack because everyone's getting pissed off. Right. let's talk about this, because this for me is probably top of the hour news. I think anyway. I mean, look, I have a love for Strymon BigSky. A massive big fan of Strymon BigSky. It's probably one of my go-to sounds.
Classic.
Yep. And the fact that they've brought a new one out, I was like, oh, hang on. Wait, guys, wait. Can we do a better job? I think they can. And I'll tell you why at the end of this video. Now that stuff they're talking about there is probably in your original BigSky anyway, but they've gone past the things that we need to talk about, and that is the elephant in the room is the convolution reverb that's in this thing, which makes the new BigSky MX something to think about more seriously than it's just they've upgraded the CPU and they've put a few more algorithms in like a lot of pedal manufacturers do. This is actually giving us the ability, the impulse, this is the impulse circuit on this, that we can actually edit. I think there's 22 built-in convolution reverb selections that you can choose, and some of them are, go-to, you'd want to use them. But you can, I believe you can also upload your own. So you could go and find an old concrete stairwell, record some, reverby sound in that. And I don't know how you do it, but I believe you can edit this pedal to do that. Maybe it's your favorite shower that you like singing in. It might be one of those things. If that's possible, then that makes this pedal massive, because convolution reverb is, personally, it's actually one of the cool things for synth owners, definitely, especially if we want to create some of those beautiful taily type ambient sounds. I put Daren in the corner because I know Daren likes the BigSky as well. So that's not all. The other side of it too, which I feel is kind of cool, is, yes, I know Daren, is the fact that you can actually put two reverbs together on this. So that's why they've had to upsize the CPU on this. It's a tri-core, I think it's 800 megahertz, I think they said it was, on this. But basically, I believe the old one's probably not available anymore anyway. That's part of the reason. But the fact that you've now got the ability to run two reverbs into each other, you've got a choice. You can either have them as parallel or series, or you can have it independently as well. That's pretty cool. So I feel like synth owners, the question I have here is, if you can run them independently, are there two separate outputs on this thing? I couldn't quite work that out. So maybe someone who's researched this a little bit more might be able to tell me the answer to that. $679 is the price. There is an app that you can use to import your own custom convolution reverbs. I think it's called Nixie.
Yep.
I think it's called Nixie 2 or something, the app. And there's also a way that you can actually introduce sounds from natural spaces as well, using third-party sources as well. So for me, $679 is about what the BigSky used to cost anyway, if I remember rightly. So it's about the same price. You're getting the same pedal. Someone's done a comparison between the two, and they sounded about the same. So the BigSky MX has all the BigSky stuff in it, so you're not missing out on anything. plus it's got that stuff that I mentioned as well. Hopefully I've explained that right. Anyway, over to you guys.
I was wondering the same about the outputs, but mostly the inputs, because often when you see a good effect, it's only a mono input because it's meant for people playing guitar.
Yeah.
Well,
the BigSky has
I don't
stereo.
think this is a mono input. Yeah, it gotta have it.
Yeah.
I like it. I was thinking one thing they could do when upgrading the CPUs is to have an effect which lasts while you change to another patch. I don't know if it can do that, but it's possible in some synthesizers. So why not in effects too?
Yeah. Well, to answer your question about inputs and outputs, it's the same as the original BigSky. It's got the left and right in, left and right out, and the X, which is the pedal control thing, MIDI in and MIDI out. And the only thing that's new is the USB. I think it's a USB-C connection on it. You guys can see it there. There's your I/O. So not sure. Still with my question. And did anyone in chat answer that? Not sure. Highlight my name if you're answering that question for me. Can you separate the two reverb edges into two separate outputs? That would be cool if you could. Not sure. It may even be written here. I haven't actually read this whole. It's a massive page. Like it goes on and on and on and on and on and on. Like it's huge. So like you're not just getting, a small update. This is a huge update. Who would buy this? Just out of curiosity.
If money was no object,
I wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't mind it, but I probably wouldn't part with cash.
Daren and I both own one, so we know how good these are.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
That's the thing, isn't it?
And I'm like, knowing that you own the original, would you still want to get this one as well as the original?
I would sell the original, Daren. That's what I would do, because you're getting the original in this, and they have made that really clear, so you're not missing out on anything.
I think the copied algorithms in FX8 are good enough. I mean, they're quite good in there. Very Strymon-like, or Black Hole, or any of that kind of stuff.
Well, I mean, I've got Black Hole as well, and I love Black Hole. It's also one of my favorite reverb algorithms, but I find the Strymon Cloud and the Bloom. Oh my god, the Bloom is one of my favorites. I love the Bloom. It kind of
also source mentors. You can do two at once, and it's cheaper.
But with a synth, you get completely different sounds than you do with a guitar with this pedal. So, and I'm talking about the old algorithms. I'm not even talking about the new ones on this. But with a Bloom, it sounds like you've got this explosion of reverb, and then the tail just kind of scatters all over your ears. It's incredible algorithm. You guys should, if you haven't tried the Strymon out, you can actually, I believe you can trial the app, not the MX, but the BigSky, and they've got all those reverb engines on the app. You can trial it out. It's worth it.
Also, the Audio Thingies Dr. A is an amazing competitor. So
yeah, and the Ventress is another one that I believe.
Yeah, Ventress, I love it. I have two on that one. Yeah.
I noticed a preset called Oil Can. I wonder how that sounds.
Right. Yeah. Well, hopefully sort of springy and bouncy, and that's kind of what we want, right?
Yeah, or like shouting down in the bottle.
Yeah. You get that sort of metallic.
And going on the convolution reverb take. Oh, is it the Australian the
Bebo. Poly.
Yeah,
effects.
Bebo.
Yeah, poly effects. Yep.
Yeah. A convolution reverb effect.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
And the Hector.
So it's
the eurorack version.
It's those two, yeah. So.
I never got one. I can't see Eddie. I think I'm in it, but I can't see anyone. Okay. Hang on. Let me just see if I can connect. So sorry, guys. I'm just going to have to get Eddie in again.
He's doing the Zoom stuff. One moment, please.
Ooh, why is it not connecting? Oh yeah, there he is. He's in. Hey, there he is. Cool. Just to quickly check to see if he's working. There you go.
1 2 1 2.
Yeah, you're working. We'll come back to you, Eddie. Sorry, but you're definitely working. All right. Awesome. All right, let's go back. Sorry, let's go back to this view. I feel like we need to give this a little bit of a chat. So guys in chat, if you kind of want to talk about this pedal, including you, Eddie, I know you've just jumped on, and I know Eddie's a guitarist, or he loves his guitar and stuff. So this is Strymon are basically a guitar pedal manufacturer, but this pedal became such a synthesizer pedal fan as well that it's a go-to. What do you guys think about this MX? Like, how much of an update is this? Is this an update that you feel warrants?
Well, the screen's a lot nicer as well for a start.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, my screen is just a couple of segment display LEDs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The screen reminds me of the Boss 500 series pedals. That's what the screen looks like, except different color. So the Boss one, I think, is more like a blue gray / backlit thing, but the font and everything's kind of similar. What about Chatties? What do you guys think? Who in chat say Ranzee? I'm getting one, no brainer, or nah, too expensive for me, or what's your? Actually, should we do a poll? Why don't we do a poll?
Okay.
Here we go. Here we go.
Start a poll. Here we go. Are you getting the BigSky? Is it MX? BigSky MX, isn't it? Yeah, MX. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Let's just do that. There we go. Let's start the poll. Cool. Let's do a poll. Answer the poll, guys. Well, we'll keep talking. Well, let's let that poll run for a little bit. Yeah.
I got him quick.
What would be your favorite sound? Would it be Cloud? I mean, I think that's the most famous BigSky sound, right? Is the Cloud, right?
Yeah, I would probably say Cloud, yeah. Like you say,
Yeah.
Bloom's really nice as well.
Bloom is amazing.
Yeah. It's one of those settings that I end up just going to when you're putting anything through it.
The what was I going to say? The Cloud is actually in the FX-Aid module. If you guys have got the Happy Nerding Eurorack module, and it's
That's what I was saying. You can get a lot of those algorithms for free in there, and they're amazing.
And I don't know how they get away with that. That's the thing that I'm scratching my head about. Because surely
Behringer gets away with stuff. So
yeah.
It's fun.
It's the same processor.
reverse engineering, right? So
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Shall we have a look at our poll, guys? Let's have a look at the poll. Because the answers are in. You can't see it there. The answers are 18% are saying yes and 82% are saying no. There you go. Let's end the poll. Oh, it just jumped up to 80. There you go. 82% no, 17% yes. There you go. But hey, it's not for these things are not for everyone. I get it. But
is that because of the cost and they don't need it?
Yeah.
If you're a no, tell us why. Like Andy's saying a big fat no. Why is it a big fat no, mate? Let us know.
And how could it get to 17%?
Okay, so here's the thing.
It's not a barrier anymore.
Here's the thing. Right now, there will be people like me and Daren who will be like, their credit cards will be getting itchy about this MX. Okay, and when they make the decision to actually get the MX, a lot of people will be parting with their BigSkys. So you will see a flood of BigSkys on the market. It might be a perfect opportunity to pick up a used BigSky, like mine, if I decide to do it.
I think this has to be a big jump in quality if people should do what you say. I'm not sure if I had a BigSky already that I would jump on this.
Right.
Why should I?
Well, for me, it's about the convolution reverb.
Yeah,
As a separate processor. Like, it's not in your computer. It's not in a eurorack module like the Tasty Chips one that like shat noise all over my modular. It's a separate box that processes it, and it does it. Hopefully, it does it well. We don't know yet because we have to see more about it.
Yeah, but I have 10 other second boxes lying around. I could put together with it. So why should I?
Do you have convolution reverb, Dave?
More of them? No, I don't like convolution reverb.
I'm glad somebody else said it. That's the only reason it's not a reason for me, because I've never really kind of agreed with convolution reverb. It's never really kind of sparked my inspiration. I played with it, but it was like, I prefer algorithmic reverbs.
Yep. Fair enough.
So the Blue Sky was mono, right? Is that the difference on the Blue Sky?
Blue Sky, I'm not sure, but they also had the Night Sky too, didn't they?
It's a smaller pedal before the Big Sky.
Yeah, the Night Sky
was mono.
That's the one that they brought out last year, wasn't it? The Night Sky.
Yeah, that one's even crazier.
That's.
They also have the modular version too, which I forgot the name of it, but there's a modular version of Night Sky.
A lot of people are saying they're not fans of convolution reverb. Got to think outside the box, guys. Think sound design.
Exactly.
And
there is creative uses. Yeah.
Go and record something somewhere.
Yeah.
And put that in as your convolution reverb engine and see what you get. That's kind of, these are the tests that you do with it, and you'll be surprised how funky you can get these sounds to sound. It's not technically, a lot of people are going to be saying, "Oh, I want it to sound like an oil can," or "I want it to sound like my favorite abandoned concrete warehouse." There's a famous one in my city, south of the river, which is on the coast, which used to be like a power plant thing. It's all concrete, and they fenced it off, and kids get in there, but it's really, really concrete, empty spaces, and you could like drop a pole in it, and it would just reverb so well.
Yeah,
and it's kind of interesting because you get the next, basically the next building to the left of it is in Madagascar. Across the Indian Ocean. So you get there's nothing stopping the sound waves from traveling out of this concrete structure. So you get some really interesting things. So like you go there and record stuff, and this is kind of what you can bring into your pedal.
We have some interesting parking garages in San Francisco that have some dampening in them.
Yeah.
So it's not quite a dead room. There's like this weird muffled reverb. That's another interesting sound.
So it's almost like you're getting an envelope on the tail, right? You're getting sort of like
so you slam your car door in there. It was like
a release variant. Yeah,
that's actually the only reason why I like. The only thing I like about convolution reverb, that you can record your own room or a garage or whatever, and then import it to your reverb and copy that effect. That's what I like about convolution reverbs, but I haven't found a room that I like, and that's why I don't use convolution.
I think there was a famous American rock band. Was it the Presidents of the United States? I think it was those guys who, obviously, they started out in their garage, and one of the guitarists, I'm pretty sure it was these guys, one of the guitarists said, "We love the sound of our garage," and they had someone who was in the know and said, "Oh, let's record the sound of that garage," and they put it through, an early day convolution reverb engine, and that was the sound that they used to record their first album with as an effect, and the guitarist loved it, and it was a go-to from there.
On my Life EP mini album, I used convolution reverb, which was an old listening tower from the Cold War in Europe. I used that constantly for ages. I just loved that one. It's just something different.
Yeah.
But, I don't mind. Still use I can't even say it now. I can't even say it. Forget it. But I still use. No, forget it. I can't even say it. Anyway, I like
algorithm.
Algorithmic. That's it. Yeah, algorithmic.
Well, they used to have that website
I think it's like
where you could upload your sound, and they would process it through this giant hole in the ground. And I forgot, it was in Europe somewhere. It was a massive, like, concrete well or something. And, and then you could download your sound they process for you.
Oh, really?
Right. I think
that's cool.
I think there were the caverns, underground caverns, and things. I remember they used that a lot in the Lord of the Rings for sound effects. They were putting a lot for the mining, the dwarves mining colonies and all that kind of crap. They used some massive underground bunker tunnels place they found in.
Well, in the longest reverb, I think it's in Scotland. Is it Scotland somewhere? There's a man-made cave tunnel with one of the longest reverbs. And I think they've got convolution.
Yeah, so that is Omnisphere, that the synth VST.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they recorded. They recorded in that Scotland thing. Yeah, I remember it.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey guys, let's
forever.
Let's move on from the Big Sky. We've given it a fair bit of love, and not everyone. Like when you consider 82% of people didn't want to buy it, we've given it a lot of love.
They didn't want to buy it, but they didn't say they didn't like it.
That's true. That is true, Daren. You are absolutely right. Wagoo actually put this across my desk today, the Programma 900, and he was like, "This thing's bonkers," and I'm like, let's have a look. And he was definitely correct. Let's have a look at the video, and I'll just take you off, Daren, so we can actually get a good appreciation of this. This is probably about 3 minutes worth of watching. This is insane, this thing.
Programma 900 is a harmonic musical computer built on FPGA and ARM Cortex technology. It has 6 polytonal voices, each featuring odd harmonic, even harmonics, harmonic partials, harmonic tilt, and fundamental frequency control. Individual voices can be 4-quadrant multiplied for complex sculpting. Programma 900 has 32 complex gestful CV buffers, allowing 6-minute CV recording windows for all 32 mod destinations and voices, allowing dynamic complex envelopes. Each individual complex gestful CV buffer has individual modes for speed and attenuation.
I'll probably stop it there because there's a lot more going on in that thing. It's insane. It's bonkers. But it's got a 3,000 note MIDI record buffer in it as well. It's got X3 location with ABC pan controls. It's got an experimental stereo registration and / delay algorithm with over 12 minutes regeneration buffers. Daren, that would be cool, hey?
Yeah.
So you can actually there's kind of multiple regeneration modes and buffers on this thing. It's completely bonkers. Anyway,
I like the scientific nerdy panel too.
And then you send it to the Big Sky.
Then you send it to the BigSky MX. yeah. It's completely digital. Obviously, it's based on an FPGA with the ARM Cortex technology in it. So, but yeah, anyone interested in that? That's the Programma 900. Price, I don't know, but I can... Wagoo, did you get a price on that? I couldn't actually find one. Or were they kind of still... DestinyPlus.com was where I got the website for that.
I mean, the building blocks aren't expensive. Couldn't be that expensive, right?
Yeah. I actually couldn't find a price on this thing. How do we buy it? I don't know. Wagoo will tell us in the chat. Wagoo, where have you disappeared to? He couldn't find the price either. Yeah, either could I. So I wasn't going mad. All right. We don't know the price. I'll quickly show you the website, Daren. You can you can be our host. I just can't be bothered moving you. So there's a whole bunch of interesting information on here, which we already saw in the video. But then when you get to here, you can start to see some of the. There's an app for it, and you can start manipulating all this stuff through an app. So it's probably one of these synths that you're going to need, to
a lab coat to use.
Yeah, it's probably one of those sort of.
It's like the Ega Matrix on the Osmos. Deep dive into that.
Yeah. But definitely a good pickup from Wagyu anyway, I thought, and definitely worth showing on the show. Yep. Now
it'll be something that if you have in the studio, people can come in and go, "What the hell is that?"
Exactly.
And then you can turn around to them and go, "I haven't got a clue."
Darren, take it to your EMOM, and you just have crowds of people going, "Oh, no wonder he's so cool. He's got a science degree."
Yeah, where your lab?
Like I say, when you put it for your big sky.
I don't know what that music is, but I know it's made by a really smart guy.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll leave that for now. Now, do you guys remember last week? Was it last week or the week before? We showed the ALT by Cyma Forma. These guys are the two Vincents from France, and he actually messaged me through my YouTube channel during the week saying, "Hey, we've got a big video out," and obviously these guys are going to be at Super Booth in 2 weeks' time. But I wanted to show you this because we didn't really get to see a lot of this. Now, I do believe this was also on PrssPnt Network last night as well.
Vincent, and this is ALT.
Let's have a look anyway, and we'll talk about it in a sec.
ALT is an analog soundscape synthesizer. We designed it as a tool for musical sound design that would allow anyone to find their own sound, the sound that would move them. From an underwater forest to relaxing waves, or a more harmonic sound. ALT has many faces. It's divided in 3 sections. The first one is voices, the birthplace of the sound. Each voice can play a precise frequency freely, allowing to create acoustic beats. The voices can also play notes from 5 different scales, easily creating melodies. Each voice can be played left or right in the stereo field. The next section is where you can give character to your sound. We named it Alter. It has a very cool filter inspired by the Korg MS-20.
Oh yeah, baby.
And a crazy delay module that can create infinite feedback loops.
But is it a BBD? That's what Rance is wondering.
I think it's Dig, but it's very lo-fi.
The third section is movement, the place where things get very interesting. This is where the sound of ALT is set in motion, using a pin matrix. The matrix has 4 modulation sources that you can assign to 17 destinations, using pins like a game of Battleship. Combining them will create intricate rhythmic and melodic patterns. Amongst the modulation sources, there are 2 low-frequency oscillators, or LFOs. In this example, LFO1 is modulating both the filter cutoff and the pitch of the second oscillator. The second modulation source is a random step generator. Here, the random function is modulating the pitch of the fifth oscillator, creating this quantized melody. By the way, that's how many possible combinations there are. I can't even pronounce that number. With each modulation choice comes a very specific sound. Alt can sound very clean, hypnotic, and melodic. Or I can play rhythms. And it can also be a little wild. The last modulation source is an envelope follower that we call outline. It generates a waveform that is the outline of what is picked up by the built-in microphone, the ears of Alt. Outline also works with external audio or CV signals, including eurorack modules, allowing Alt to be synced with any sequencer or instrument. Of course, Alt is also compatible with MIDI and CV, making it a great addition to any existing setup. Last but not least, there are two light sensors that we call Leon, the eyes of Alt. They can modulate the master pitch and master volume, turning Alt into a theremin, the first electronic music instrument made by Leon Theremin over 100 years ago. These eyes and ears of Alt are very special. They allow for the synth to respond to its environment, creating spontaneous patterns based on the lighting and acoustics of the room. Alt will probably never sound alike in two different spaces, which is very cool. This instrument is very easy to understand and play. There are no screens, no shift buttons, no patching cables. The column-based interface is very simple and lets you explore and manipulate sound with purpose and immediately understand how the slider you're pushing affects what you hear.
There it is, people. I just wanted to. I promised them that I'd probably like 90% of that video. At the end of it, you don't really need to know. For me, this thing is actually quite innovative. You're seeing what I think you're seeing is what would a modern VCS3 be? What would you know? It would probably be this. You know, if you were to recreate one with today's technology, but also embracing some of the inventions of the past. Definitely with that pin matrix, that's kind of where that goes to. But then on top of it, you've got this, I know Andy loves that whole sort of, you know, making movement with sound and with light and you know, those sort of things. And I think Ian, if Ian was here, he'd be agreeing with it. This is kind of a very quirky sort of unique sort of box. And then on top of that, you've got this sort of more modern thing where it's the stereo sphere again. Like I feel like that's where a lot of synthesizers are going. And taking up that stereo space, mind you, there is also, you know, 5.1 and all that sort of stuff as well. It's not just stereo, but Who? I mean, this is the second suck of the sab for these guys, but who likes this? Who's interested in this? Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
This
Sounds
is
lovely.
like the first thing that got me into synthesizers. It was an electronic engineer who had built a box with 8 knobs, and each knob had 8 or 10 positions, and they all changed the sound in that box, and you never knew what you did. This reminds me a lot about that, except there's more order to it here. I love this thing, and unless it's a billion, then I will get it. That's for sure.
yeah. I reckon they're gonna sell a stack of them. Yeah. And you're going to Super Booth, Henrik, so you'll be able to play with this thing at Super Booth.
Yeah,
Because they are definitely going to be there.
and I will talk to him.
Yeah. So Vincent is definitely going to be here, and I think the other Vincent is as well. Now, Andy, I know this is the sort of product down your alley. Is this something that
I like the weird stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
Also
feel like you
beautiful
get
too.
this?
It's not just weird and crazy. It's quite beautiful in a lot of those demos. So you don't have to make crazy ass off the rails stuff with it, although you can. It's funny they added the photocells for the theremin-like effect. Because I haven't seen this for a while. I have an SK1 that's modded with a photocell. You can change the pitch with the photocell. But no, it's great. I don't have any money for it, but eventually, if it hangs around, I'll probably get one, because nothing like experimental stuff that kind of use a little ecosystem and you just play, and you're not bogged down with menu diving and screens and stuff. That's why I like the OPZ so much. Once you learn some of the basics on it, you can just sit and noodle, and you don't need a damn screen. You just look at the lights here and there, fiddle some stuff, and you just get lost in it. It's great.
Yeah, I kind of also felt too, like with all the sliders, it kind of makes you feel like you're the mixing sound engineer with this as well. You know, it gives you a bit of fun. That's a bit of fun factor with it. And it looks like we've got Eddie back as well.
One thing I fear about it is if I lose a pence.
Yes.
I noticed there was
I think
drilled a
that too.
hole in them, so they could get on a
String or something.
Yeah. Or make them magnetic or something. Yeah. And people will lose them. Trust me, people will.
Yes.
You know that thing. If you've got cats in your studio, there's a lot of people that have cats. they would knock that thing over like you wouldn't believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I interrupted you while introducing Andy.
Yeah, I just wanted to say. I wanted to say a quick hello to Eddie, because he's finally got Zoom working. Hey, how are you, mate?
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Loud,
we can.
Too loud? Not loud enough?
No, that's fine. That's good.
Cool. I'm back.
Yay.
Hey, Eddie, what are those weird
everybody?
things behind you to the right?
One changing color.
What?
What's that weird? What's all this wood stuff?
Is that firewood? Is that the...
It's nice to see them on show.
All right,
Get
tell
used to real music, mother.
Tell us what you think about the Big Sky MX, because I know that you want to tell us what you think about that.
Oh, I think that every single Strymon product is in my bucket list.
Yeah.
Quality-wise, no argument. Function-wise, I've never had an experience, so I don't really have an opinion, but any improvement in them, it's almost unbelievable, because they were already perfect from the get-go when they got released originally. Sadly, the bucket list is huge, and those things are not on the top of the list.
I get you, mate.
Because price and priorities, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, once again, I'm a freaking pedal collector, so yes, I would get them in if I had the money.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah, well, mate, watch this space. Maybe you might be able to get yourself a used the Big Sky, not the MX, the Big Sky, because I reckon there'll be a few popping out on the market soon, and they'll be pretty cheap because.
How long can you wait? Because I told you the bucket list is
long. Well, it's up to you, buddy. That's up to you. Yeah. Now, there was one other product I wanted to show you guys before we finish, and that is the Dreadbox have actually released a 70 HP Eurorack case, and it's actually really, really cheap. It's only $139, which I thought was quite insane.
That's very Dreadbox.
Very Dreadboxy.
So that's very cool.
I
The only thing
believe
little
this is
bit
going to be
skimpy
at.
on it.
I believe this is going to be at Superbooth for you guys to check out as well with some of their not chromatic, their polyphonic things that they're doing. What are they called? The
Telemarks, the telephonic, tele something, isn't it?
Tele something. Tell me what the answer is.
I couldn't remember. Someone was talking about it in the chat. I couldn't remember the name.
Just to give you, €139, not 139 US.
As long as no Teletubbies are okay. So,
couple of things for those who like to know about specs. Obviously, you can see the bus boards. There's 3, 6, 8 connectors on the bus board there. 15 volt DC power. This price includes the 15 volt power supply, which is 1.5 amp on the plus 12, 1 amp on the minus 12, and a max combined for both. And the plus and minus 12 is 1.5. So you can max out either. And it's 8 power rails, as I mentioned before, but more can be used with a ribbon chain, which what you're talking about before, Chris. There's 40 millimeter depth for your module, so it's pretty deep. And it only weighs 7.7, so 790 grams, less than a kilo. So it's pretty decent. Like Daren, what did we pay for our Nifty case? I mean, it doesn't have the MIDI and stuff in it, right? But
it's the same.
I can't remember now. Is it 230?
Yeah. So I feel this is definitely cheaper.
Definitely is. I mean, I was looking at cases, as you all know, Rant, months ago, and it was the Nifty keys, because I did a lot of research on the actual construction of them, and because I wanted to know what the differences were. It was quite interesting. This one looks like it's constructed very similar to the Nifty keys. It's the same kind of sheet metal with the the nut strip actually part of the actual sheet metal, which is the cheapest way to do it.
Yeah.
So they've obviously gone down the same route and managed to get it out for cheaper somehow.
I'm literally looking at my Nifty keys case right here.
Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah.
I've got my Nifty case.
Design.
Obviously, the difference is the Nifty case is more expensive, but the Nifty case does have I/O.
In it.
It has MIDI. It has 2 different CV gate inputs, which is also manipulated through MIDI as well.
It's probably a more expensive paint job. There's a lot of things that change cost. Yeah, there's a lot of things that change cost.
Yeah. Look, 70
market.
and 84 HP, as Mac correctly mentions in the chat as well. So 70 HP is a little on the skinny side, but that is a backpack size case. So your standard sort of backpack that you would have, from days of school, uni, whatever. A 70 HP case will fit in a backpack, and that's the cool thing about it. So yes, it's not for those people who want to expand Eurorack and have stacks of modules. It's more for someone who just wants a case that they can lug around. It's light. That's what I said before. It's only 790 grams. Obviously, with modules in it, it's going to be heavier, but not much, because modules aren't that heavy, generally speaking. So you might sort of hit a bit over a kilo and a half, maybe, with all the modules in it.
If this had come out a year ago, I reckon I would have got one of these, at least one.
Yeah. Because
I was more into that size case back then. I mean, my 2 original cases here are 63U, which I know is an odd length, but 63U. And I only converted over to the dark side of 84 and 104U recently.
I chose to mount it all in 19-inch racks, but do any of you know if you can get a
rack mount kit?
No, not that. If you can get a rack which is not deeper than about this size, instead of always have a rack on this depth.
You mean like what I did before with the desktop thing? Did you see I did that? I was showing that a couple of shows ago.
It's just the front of the rack.
No, I didn't.
So it's literally you can get them on Amazon. They're literally just a stand. They're only literally that. The piece of metal is only that wide, and your electronic sticks out the back of it.
I saw that. Yeah. I actually have one. The first rack thing I bought.
So that technically can be as fat or as thin as you like. That's the benefit of those. The only negative side of it is the feet, which keep it upright. Will have a standard depth to it, but you can always hack that off
on
if
the
you.
table. So.
Well, exactly, yeah, and also you could hack that off if you wanted to bolt it onto your table or something instead. If that was an issue,
hard mount it.
Yeah, yep. So yeah, I've got two of them now. I've got my 2600 Behringer in there in one of them, and I've got all of my Behringer desktop module synths in the other one. And I mean, I'll show you. I showed everyone last week.
I bought a cheap one many years ago, but I couldn't screw the screws through the hose. It was too cheap. It was
okay, yeah. You do have to watch out for those. The one I got was on stage. It's a pretty cheap brand. But let me just go across here for you guys. So I'll just zoom out a bit. So on stage is the brand, and you can see the side of it there. It's quite skinny in that sense, and it also has a slight angle to it too. And I've got two of them, as you can see. So that's pretty much what you're after, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I have all the adapters for Eurorack to 19-inch.
Yeah. So I'll hit you up with the link to Amazon on that for you, because they're still on Amazon. And for you, I mean, the exchange rate would be negligible. It's only like it was about £70, I think, 65, 70 pounds UK. So whatever that works out to be in Danish kroners, isn't it, for you guys?
Yeah, but I have to import it from UK or Germany, because we haven't got Amazon in Denmark.
Yeah. But you don't have to buy this from Amazon though, because this On Stage company is also in standard music distribution stores around.
Hopefully in Thomann.
So you might be able to get it through Thomann or something like that.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah. So far that's been brilliant. I've actually really enjoyed that. Like, I've been mucking around so much more now with the Argon 8, and obviously the news of Modal coming back online with their new owner this week was a huge benefit. Well, it's a benefit to me because and Henrik, you've got Modal stuff as well, don't you? So yeah.
I've got the Argon and the Cobalt.
Yeah, and I mean, I hadn't done a firmware update on that thing for a little while because it's been sitting in a box, because I wanted to put it in the rack. I plugged it in. Last week I couldn't do a firmware update because their website was down, and I thought, oh no, here we go. But it was good news in the end. Yeah.
It's funny that time.
Yeah, and with your rack mount, it's easier to get on the back to the USB port. That's actually a problem when you have a big rack.
Yeah. Well, that one there, it's so cool. You can actually just tilt it forward. I've just got this on a standard IKEA desk, and you can just tilt it forward, and you can access all the ports above. And that's why I put the Argon 8 at the top. Because the Behringer ones, I don't really need access, because most of them are on the front with the Behringer.
Yeah.
But look, you can...
the Pro 800 do get some updates.
Look at that. You can control it from your computer. Yay.
Yeah. But it has USB on the front, right? I can't remember.
Which one?
The Pro 800.
Pro 800 does not have USB. It only has MIDI on the front.
On the front, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on the back of that, I've actually got a TP-Link cheap, I think they're Taiwanese or Chinese brand USB hub, powered hub, and all of those synths are plugged in via USB, and I've got one cable that goes back to my Mac from there.
And actually, and I think of Chris, actually someone should make a Eurorack adapter where you can have 8 USB ports, and on the backside you can have the same ports where you can connect cables to your devices.
Cool.
Inside the rack. That would be a nice idea.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I really kind of wanted to do was what you said, Henrik, and that was I wanted to actually put these in those 19-inch eurorack modules and take all of the Behringer synths out and mount them as eurorack modules. I actually wanted to do that because I'd end up with a couple of HP that I could use for various other duties and stuff. But then I priced it up, and it was like insane. You know, to achieve the mounting, just the basic mounting, you know, the way I've done it with the ears was, I mean, obviously the Argon 8 comes with the ears, so that was free. The Behringer Model D one I got really cheap, and by the way, you can't get it that price anymore. I was going to get another one because my friend asked me for one, and I said I can't get it now. It's back up to $55 Australian.
Yeah,
it's insane.
For you.
And I managed to get, I don't know how I managed to get them for 17. It's just, I think sometimes things you just get the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
And then the rest of them are made by hand. So, you know, and if that's a way you can save a few dollars, it wasn't too much of an effort. Probably only took me about 40 minutes to make those ears. So it's not too bad. 40 minutes of your time. And what did I save, Chris? About $110 for 40 minutes of my time. Yeah.
Else, something that always works. Lots of gaffer tape or duct tape.
Yeah, yeah. Or just hot glue.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got personal scars. A guy at work used to use hot glue to put all sorts of industrial things together. It drove me nuts.
Leave hot glue alone. I see where you're going with
It's
this.
like, use bolts and screws. No, I'm going to use hot glue.
I just wanted to trigger Daren, that's all.
Well, you triggered me as well. And you inadvertently triggered me as well.
Don't dismiss hot glue.
Chris, you could weld it.
Oh, hot glue is great when it's used in the right manner, in the right circumstance.
I saw someone cleaning the bottom of their iPhone out with hot glue. And I'm like, you're mad. You are mad. Sorry, Go, Eddie. Go for it. What were you saying?
Oh, never mind.
Was that you? Was that you cleaning the bottom of your iPhone now?
No, so it's not really.
No, that was a guitar.
He filled his guitar up with one.
Oh no.
Now, in the factory I work, we use all sorts of hot glue for industrial production, but it's not definitely the cheaper you buy in the pound store. It's a completely different composition, to the point that, in fact, one of our products, we had ordered a specific formulation of hot glue for very specific application.
Yeah, and it actually sticks too, right? Not like the cheap stuff.
And other things, because it's humidity repellent and resistance to oil and...
Yeah. I mean, how many things have we done with our little craft projects and we've put hot glue on stuff, and then within about, I don't know, 3 days, it literally just...
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Nice. Beautiful smooth surface on that hot glue.
But, but if it's the other case, it's ingrained. You put hot glue in something that is very complex, like a circuit board, and want to remove it easily. In what we use is surgical spirit.
Yes.
It goes underneath the hot glue, and it fails. It falls out, basically.
Fair enough. Alcohol, yep. Or rubbing alcohol.
Rubbing alcohol.
If you're rubbing, you're not using it right.
I was just laughing about the BeatStep Pro project for me. I mean, 16 knobs of rubbing alcohol. It was just, I actually had sore fingertips. My fingertips were sore.
I
had the same problem with my Zoom H4n recorder. Which was sticking, and I tried everything, and I gave up, and then I took it out of the shelf half a year later, and it was not sticky anymore. So it did
Wow.
work, but it didn't work at the time.
Wow.
So,
How did that happen?
yeah.
Slow.
Yeah.
One of the things I tried as an
listening.
experiment recently was talcum powder, and I thought that's got to work. Surely that's got to work. No, it didn't work.
Didn't work, yeah.
No, it's not even
it
talcum
wouldn't-
powder.
It's not going to absorb the stickiness.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could try cornstarch next.
I
My BeatStep Pro never got sticky.
That does anything.
I got one of the early
It's
ones,
very sticky like this.
but I got one of the early ones, Andy. I don't know when you got yours, but mine was probably one of the first shipments. And I reckon Arturia fixed their sticky, knob.
The
Factory.
Mini Brute and Micro Brute got sticky. Those are sticky.
Yeah, my Mini Brute is still
I
sticky.
didn't use alcohol. I used a product you can buy in car shops to remove or clean vinyl and that stuff.
Like Armorall.
I can't remember what it was.
Is it like a silicon-based thing, is it?
I don't know. It was in tissues where you just
Yeah, it's probably
rub
it's
the
probably a silicon-based thing. So if you actually put that product under a microscope, there would be tiny little microscopic silicon balls. And that's why it's smooth. It's not sticky anymore because you've coated it with silicon.
Okay. Because I was thinking if I should do it with alcohol, I would still use the same stuff as before, and then I would drink the alcohol.
Have a glass. One for me, one for the rubbing.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I should have done that. I mean, what I actually did do was I was just swearing the whole time at Arturia.
Yeah, exactly. That calms it.
Yeah.
As you should.
Mini Brute 2 still good. Yeah, I think that's past, James. I think that was past their
That one's later, yeah. It's the early Mini Brute that had the problem.
You had to go back a little bit. I've got the original BeatStep, not the BeatStep Pro. I got the original BeatStep.
I
You
do
guys
too,
remember?
yeah.
Yeah, and that's all sticky as well. So I've got a Spark controller as well from them. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, I have the big fancy Spark one.
Yeah, so it's one of those things
the
which is
big
like you had to use a laptop. It's like by itself, it's just your MIDI
Software
controller.
controller.
Actually, the MIDI controller, you can make it work with other things.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to use the Spark.
you can.
software.
Yeah,
So the Spark was a drum machine.
yeah, but it was a laptop-based software drum machine. I still use it. It's
Okay.
actually really good. It's got
I like the
sounds
Spark,
really
yeah.
good.
it's actually got Lindrum in there. It's got Oberheim, DMX. It's a whole bunch. It's got Simmons. It's
I
got a
still
whole
have
bunch
my
of stuff.
old VST collection 3, which contains that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They took it out after that.
yeah. And as Kosh was saying in chat, there's an iPad iSpark as well, which is actually really cool.
I Spark there for AM.
It's I actually really like the iPad version. It's actually really, really cool. Like because it's a touch surface,
Yeah.
I actually think it's better than the sticky Arturia control surface one. No, it's better than the VST because the VST one you're using your mouse and it's technically you're touching only one point at a time. Whereas with the iSpark you can actually touch multiple things at the same
You've
time.
got hand and eye
Yeah,
coordination. that you
it's
can
actually pretty
exploit.
cool, and I think it was like $14 or something. It was really cheap. So I don't know if it's still available though, but it's sitting on my iPad anyway. Yeah, good call. Gosh, I forgot about that. I should dig that back out. When you're doing stuff with your iPad, Andy, by the way, he's a big iPad guy.
No.
Get the camera connection kit, right?
Yeah.
You must have the camera connection kit, unless you plan on doing everything through Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, which you've got introducing latency. But if you use the camera connection kit, like for example, we were just showing that modal Argon 8 before. I use the iPad with the camera connection kit because I can go stand over near that synth and tweak some of the stuff that you can't tweak through the front panel. Yeah, there you go. There's
There you
iSpark.
go. Yeah.
Let's
I
go
think
to
it was
Say
this
hardware.
one.
Let's
Or
go
the-
full screen. Hold it up again, Andy. Do it again.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's actually really good, that app.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
actually one of my favorite apps.
But you don't get velocity because it's a touchscreen, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't
of
get
course
velocity, yeah.
Don't you hit it just higher up on the pad if you want a louder sound?
Maybe
That's
I
how
haven't
some
used
of
it
them
that
work,
much. I
yeah.
forgot. Some apps do that. Yeah.
Yeah, some apps
Oh,
do
okay,
that.
so it's
Position.
like vertical velocity.
Positional.
Yeah.
Positional velocity, yeah.
Yeah, positional velocity. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah.
About the cleaner for the sticky things.
Aha.
I think it was this one I used.
Yeah, Umbral. Yep, that's the one. It's silicon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the exact one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or it could be this one. I have two, but I think it's the first one because
If you read that,
it's more empty.
if you
So it
read the
didn't clean
fine
it, it
print,
coated it basically.
if you read the fine print on the back, Henrik, I guarantee you it'll have reference to either the silicon element or it'll be some sort of molecular compound
Sticky
that
knob syndrome remover.
contains silicon in it.
I'll read it later when I have glasses on.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so one other thing before we jump on to any other segment. Well, actually, there's no more segments today because I haven't done the price watch this week because I just wanted to have a break from it. I wanted to talk to you guys about granulator synths or granular synths because I actually think they're really cool. And does anyone actually know what the first granular synth was?
Nope.
The waves.
Gotta be.
I mean, you could do it,
Yeah, the
even though it
original
wasn't officially a thing. You could do it in old samplers.
microwave.
Sinclair?
Microwave XT.
You got to go further back, apparently.
Yeah.
The Firelight.
No, you got to go further
I think I
back.
talked to us on the previous shows in the 70s, right? Was it in the 70s?
I mean, it was probably used on one of the early
I looked
samples.
this up
I would
once. It was
have
in
thought.
the 70s.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
Rhodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What?
Yep. They were the first to implement granular synthesis in a computer.
Isn't that debatable? I think.
Oh, it's probably everything's
what about,
debatable. Let's debate it.
Yeah, what about? I can't remember the name of them, but the ones with the tapes.
Mellotron.
Yeah, Mellotron. Aren't they actually granular? It's small pieces.
No, they're
They're
loops.
not that small. They're
Yeah, they're loops.
pretty
Yeah.
lengthy.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just
But
continuous.
isn't granular a loop?
Because didn't Depeche Mode definitely
it's-
used a granular synth in Violator, from what I remember. Because they were using
They
that.
used-
Well, they were using some sort of way to make their samples granular. So I don't. That would have had to have been some sort of very early granular engine. Yeah, Eddie, you got your hand up.
It was what Maikshifter said. It on the Mellotron. At least the later versions. I don't know the original, but the later versions. I don't think they're tape loops like in a delay. It's a length of loop that goes past by and then rewind and then pass again. That's why you had a limit length of play in time. Because the tape had to rewind and back to the beginning.
I kind of feel like we're sort of skipping over the definition of granular. So like they're not loops. Yeah. So what a granular synth is, it gives you the opportunity to zoom in on a sample, right? And it gives you the opportunity to either get a very, very small, thin slice of that sound, whether it's almost the very partial waveform, or which is almost like a wavetable sort of thing, or you can actually go right out and have quite a large sample range, right? And so most of you guys have seen the granulator on Ableton, right? Have you guys seen it?
Yeah, but when you're talking grains, aren't you talking about more grains playing at the same time? A little,
Well,
not
I mean,
exactly at the same time.
Well, it depends.
And
it's an evolution. isn't it?
and the computer power at the time
Yeah.
back then wasn't big enough to call it granular. I'll say.
I definitely agree with you, Henrik. And I don't even think they would have used the term granular at the time either.
No.
It
no.
would have been. It would have
And
been some
about
sort of
about
sample
the
thing.
Depeche Mode stuff, Alan Wilder has definitely worked a lot on the samples and resampled. He used a lot of Emacs stuff and synclavier, and he finished the sample. So it was just a sequence to play. He did it while they were in the studio, and while the other were partying, he was sitting and working on that. So he
They
was
did a
the
lot of
party
that.
guy. Yeah. The textures under the songs or in the songs of Depeche Mode in that era was sequences he made to be played on a sampler.
Yeah.
As a sample.
Yep.
One sample.
All right. So in this particular example here, I've got a voice of a sample, and you can see I can move the position of the grain. I guess the grain where it starts and stop. That's the position, and then I can change the width of that. Right, so that's kind of what they mean by granular. It's granular in nature. So you've got control over the width and the position, and then you've got, it depends on the actual granular synth engine. This is where it gets different, right? And the early ones didn't have some of these features. Obviously, this is a modern. There's also a granulator 3, by the way, which is in the new Ableton 12. But this has the ability to spray, for example. So if I was to play, let me just turn that other synth off. Sorry. You can hear him saying music, and then backwards. So that's a true granular synth. And obviously you can make that even, smaller. Put it sort of in the middle.
Yeah, but if you turn it down to 1 grain,
Yeah.
then it will be more like
Like an oscillator.
the early days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got this thing called spray, which is what you're seeing. Seeing those little things dancing around?
Yeah, more by random.
Yeah, and that's what the more modern granular synths do. They've got these extra features that randomize it and jump around and pan, and LFOs doing stuff. I kind of wanted to have
voices.
I just wanted to have a quick chat about granular synths, because I kind of feel that they're not as popular, I guess, out there, right? One of the biggest granular synths on the market in terms of cost is the Waldorf Quantum, right?
Yeah, but it's because they always sound like what do you call that delay where it's very short? It always sound like
a wavetable.
Slapback.
No, not slapback. No, I can't remember the name. It's very short.
Very short.
And it's
PCM.
like a little.
A PCM.
No, it's a
Chorus?
delay.
Gated reverb?
No, not chorus.
Gated reverb?
No, you call the delay a special thing. You can even use it as a synth and play the tone.
Carpos strong. Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah. It's because that sound is not great, and that's why granulars, they do sound like that, and that's why
They can, yeah.
popular, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how powerful that granular synth is. Like that, obviously, the Ableton Granular 2 and the Granular 3 even more powerful, has a lot of features in it, and some granular hardware synths don't have as many as that. I mean, the ability that you've got to automate some of those features as well on top of that, so that you can use mod wheels or expression pedals to sort of automate stuff as you're playing, can be really, you can get some really cool stuff.
The Medium has it, and because it can be mixed with other synth engines and lots of effects, it's great in that.
Yeah.
But if it was a synth with only that, it's not good. It
Yeah.
has to
Have you tried the Apesoft
have
stuff at
more
all? Have
than
you seen
just
this? This stuff is bonkers. This is just one of the Apesoft apps on iPad, and it's just incredibly crazy. It's all multi-touch. You can automate stuff. You can loop stuff, load your own samples and stuff in there. But another fun thing on here, if you haven't seen this before, on your phone, have you seen Sample Toy? You can do the most basic granular stuff on here. So I take a recording.
Testing 1 2.
Right? And then I can take a little piece of the waveform like this, just grab through it. And I'm just taking the slightest piece of my waveform. And then you can turn the delay on and make it all crazy. Give me a second here. I've hit the wrong button. And now I can do this stuff with it. All from a piece of me saying testing 1 2 3. So you can just slice the hell out of this sample, and it's doing the same thing. It's bouncing back and forth. The playhead is going in smaller and smaller increments. So it's the most basic granular stuff on a really basic sampling app.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff.
Do some of these things with the old Roland S10.
What's that called, Andy?
There was some live
Sample Toy.
stuff you could do with. Or was it the ones before those in the racks? I can't remember.
Well, the Akai stuff that Daren's got might have some granular stuff in it. I don't know which versions he's got in his rack down there. Where's that noise coming from? Is that coming from you, Henrik?
Yeah. My wife is watching telly.
Okay.
It's okay.
That's fine. Yeah, so okay, I guess some of you guys in chat were already mentioning some of your favorite granular synths or software.
Iris too. Iris.
Iris. Yeah, which is
Iris is great. Yeah.
What's that company called?
Isotope.
Isotope.
Can't get it anymore though. They don't support it anymore. So.
Yeah. There was one that Robbie Puricelli mentioned in chat. Failed Muso. I'm just trying to find it. Where is it? The UVI Falcon is a good one, is what he mentioned. Wagoo said he's got gas for the new Tasty Chips GR Mega, which is a granular synth.
Yeah, Omnisphere does granular too. I used it on a library where I made some beats. So if you played another note, it would I can't remember. It would always sync to the speed you played without changing the pitch because I used the granular.
Yeah,
that was how it was. Yeah.
So what
I would like Borderlands, FRMS. There's a whole bunch of them that are really nice.
What I want to see though is we've got really powerful computers now, like especially if you look at the Apple development with the ARM processor with that UK company, that they've got a lot of DSP processing happening in those chips, and I want to see more sort of real time stuff happening. So that you guys are probably the same. Like you've probably always wanted to be able to do stuff in real time instead of being able to, like every time we do stuff sample based, it's kind of we have to do these steps, don't we? We have to record the sample, we then have to slice it up, and then we have to put it into our granular synth, and then we can use it. So what I would like to see more of is the real-time stuff. And there is some products out there that do real-time, by the way. I'm not saying there's not. But when you're thinking about like live performing, like what Daren's doing at an EMOM, see, some of the things that you can do with the granular synth, if it was real-time, is that you could bring some of your sounds or your entire mix or whatever through back into a granular synth and then manipulate it like I was doing before with the granulator on Ableton, where you can have it sort of scrolling through that sound backwards and forwards, and then that could be looped into a looper, and all this is sort of real-time stuff. And that's kind of what I want to see the music world do. They should be able to do this stuff now. Like that's what I was kind of hoping some of the Waldorf top-end synths were able to do, but they're still not quite there. Paying the big bucks for them.
Aren't the eurorack modules that can do that can record and then mangle with the sample on real time?
There is, yeah. So you've got some, even the mutable stuff does it. Like I think Clouds does it. So it's granular in that sense.
Yeah, Cloud's a granular delay kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when we talk mutable, we usually talk if it's a synthesizer which does granular, then we talk a monophonic synthesizer. We don't talk 8 voices or 16 voices.
Yeah.
So if it's keyboard stuff, it has to be different and bigger.
Yeah. So do you guys agree? I mean, like that's a corner that could be, developed more. That sort of that live manipulation of sound that you're actually doing it on the fly. Like, can you imagine Daren? He's out there doing his live set, and he's got this little box next to him that's got buttons or pads on it that he hits them, and it's processing the live stuff at the same time while he's doing it, and then he's able to manipulate, modulate, pitch down, pitch up, resample, loop, all that as it's happening live. Now, there's stuff out there you can do that with, but like for example, I've got the Roland Scooper Eurorack IRA module module, and when I first bought it, Roland kind of sold it like it was a live, thing that you could record and then you could loop, and you can, but it's not really. It's kind of not really. It's kind of like you're still capturing and then you're going back. So what I want to see more of is that instantaneous thing that can be manipulated on the fly continuously. And then, if you've got the choice to snapshot if you want, or to freeze, like Daren likes to freeze stuff, that's what I want to see more of. And
it's a scatter module, right? Isn't that what it mainly was for?
It's kind of a scatter sample module, yeah.
Because the rack system 1 didn't have scatter, so they had to have it with the module.
I was kind of hoping that's what Korg did with that new Chaos thing that they brought out. They've just done the firmware update for, but they haven't really, like the algorithms in that aren't quite there yet.
KP3?
Yeah, the KP3 kind of did some of that stuff, but not really. It kind of didn't. The resampling thing on the KP3 was a little snapshotty in its. It's old now. But do you know what I mean? Like Daren, you can imagine your sets where you're remixing yourself on the fly, but in a more sort of synthesizer sort of way, right? In a more melodic way.
Yeah, pure real time now. Like I said, it's momentary real time. We want pure real time.
Yeah.
I watched 5 minutes. I can't stand more. 5 minutes of a video with Beardy Man a few days ago. He does a lot of the granular stuff, and he does a lot. I can't even understand all he does. But try to watch a video by him and see what's possible. Lots.
The Granular 3 in Ableton 12, I showed it on the show when I was showing the beta version a few weeks back. It does a real-time live snapshot of what you've got passing through it. You can choose it, to take the master, or you could choose it to take a single track, and it will do a live thing, and then you can manipulate that straight away. But it's still not quite what I was saying. You've still got to kind of manually go in and go, right, I want to snapshot that. Right, now I've done that. Now I'm gonna. It's still a steppy sort of situation where you're going. I've done step 1, capture this sound. Step 2, now we can what I want to see is more like a performance sort of thing. And I feel like we've got the tools there. The software is there. Someone just needs to design it so that it's at our fingertips more. It's more like a groove sort of style thing. Do you know what I mean, Daren? Like it's, we've got all these. Roland have got some of these products. Akai have got some.
An effects groove box in a way.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant
You run everything through it, and then
No, I do. I definitely think, Henrik, I definitely think that you should be able to play, like you should be able to, use it, remix, sample, granular, play harmonically.
But I think the
everything.
interface is the largest problem. It has to be simple to be used, simple and workable.
Yeah.
And then a keyboard would be a good idea, an effect machine too.
Or
I
even
use
just
granular
plug the
delay on
keyboard
Machine
into it.
Plus a lot. It's a great effect. It's really fun.
Someone should hack or make a new firmware for the MPC keys to do such a thing like this. That would be...
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that MPC platform is ripe for this, It's the Linux operating system on there.
They should make it open source or something like that.
Yeah. But they can't even get, on that MPC thing, they can't even get the warp right. The warp in that is naff. Like, the Force and the MPC, the warping is terrible, the algorithm. Probably because they don't have enough CPU power on it. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel if they can't get warp right, they're definitely not going to be able to do on the fly,
They should add another CPU for the next generation and let that handle effects only. They should separate it. It shouldn't be one CPU doing all the stuff.
What are you showing there, Chris?
Oh, Chris has been sat there for ages, Chris.
What are you showing?
Lo-fi thing?
Oh, yeah, the granular.
Texture Lab.
Yeah, Texture Lab.
Texture Lab, yeah.
Well, it is granular, right?
Yeah.
Hang on.
We can't hear it.
You can't see it?
We can see half
Focus,
of it.
focus.
Half of it.
What do you want us to see? What are you specifically showing?
It has a line in that's supposed to go through the granular engine. So that's supposed to be live granular.
Have you tried it?
It would have been timely for me to be able to say yes right now, wouldn't it? However,
let's demo it now, Chris.
One of the many. Oh, yeah. Battery.
You mean you've been sat there wafting it about and you've not tried it?
The battery.
You summed it up in a nutshell there, Daren. The battery's gone flat. That's
Chris.
how long it's
Chris,
been sitting there. I'm
Chris does
ashamed
nothing
of
in
this.
his life. He just plays with Texture Lab all day long. That's what he does.
Actually, that's true. That's what happened when I got
was
it.
a
I just
proper
played it, and then I was exhausted.
The batteries go flat each time you get...
Exactly, yeah. Yes, I shall do some homework for your rants and see if it's anything like what you said, because that has very, very simple controls on the top, like Henrik says, and it's supposed to take a live granular input. But proof is in the pudding whether
It'll
it actually
be.
does.
I almost guarantee it'll be step based. It'll be take this, capture that, then you can. There's got to be a process, because it's going to be a fairly small processor in that thing.
That's the thing, yeah. That's why I didn't speak up earlier.
The Sawyer, Empress FX Sawyer does some granular stuff. Some of the patches does, and it's actually quite good. Try to find some YouTube videos and watch that. There are some good presets for it. And it's available in both Eurorack and as a normal effect machine.
So Steve's talking about the Iridium. I know the Quantum definitely does it, but this is what I'm saying. There's so many things out there that do this stuff. I kind of feel like nobody has yet. I'm probably repeating myself, but nobody has yet arranged it in a way that kind of brings some of these performing type benefits. Like if it's like kind of how do I explain it? When we looked at the new Arturia synth that came out, the Astrolab, right?
Astro Boy, yeah.
Everyone was kind of polarized about this thing, because all the sound designers are saying, this is no good for me because I can't sound design on it because there's no controls. And then there's a bunch of people who perform live and they're like, what are you going to sound design when you're on stage? You're not going to sound design. You just want to load up your patches and play them. Sound design is done in the studio. So that sort of theory is kind of where we're at with the granular resampling live stuff. There's disparity between all these products.
There's
no
like
one's brought it together.
There's a line in the sand and people are still standing on either side and nobody's been brave enough to say, no, there is no line.
Well, think about what Roland did with the MX, the mixer, right? The MX, is it the MX1?
MX1
mixer? Yeah. That was the first. I'm pretty sure that, I mean, people will always shoot me down because I don't say things correct, but I'm pretty sure that was the first performance sequenced-based mixer on the market where you could actually sequence stuff that was happening on your mixer, which is kind of weird, right? Because you think, well, I don't want to sequence stuff on a mixer. But when you actually have one, you actually think, like, why hasn't someone done this yet, you know?
Exactly. The mixer in every groove box is a step sequenced mixer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, ARP 2500 had a step mixer.
Exactly, yeah.
Didn't they? So it wasn't the first. But anyway, the point is that there's kind of products that are out there, and you can't just hook them all up and use them talking to each other because they're not using the same processor, and that's where it's not real time. Like Steve Elbows says, it's not real time. It's not what he calls buffer on demand. It's not real time because you're having to do one thing to do something else to get something else to do that. To turn it into a performance thing that you can use live for a DJ or an EMOM performer or whatever, or even a musician out on the stage. How cool would that be? Where, you could even sample the crowd cheering at the end of your song, and then put that through. And that would literally be unique because that's literally what you've just captured. This is kind of where I'm getting at. It's got to be a performance thing that you can use on the fly that uses the current technology that we've got, which I believe is brilliant. Like that granulator in Ableton is insanely brilliant, and there's others out there that are just as good. That app that Andy was showing on his iPad, with all the different granular engines that you can touch at the same time with your fingers. All these things are brilliant, right? Yeah. But no one's brought them together.
I'm sure some of this already exists in if we search under the topic of performance art. I'm sure there are artists who have constructed all these things where the audience are part of the installation.
That is a very
that Wikipedia article I linked in the chat mentions Ioannis Xenakis. He conceived the idea of granular back in the 60s, but it wasn't until 74 when that guy made the first computer program to actually leverage it.
Yeah.
So artists are out there doing wacky stuff.
I've always mentioned Laurie Anderson. Like, she was always one that did that sort of in the 80s too, performance-based music, which was kind of real time, but she used MIDI and things like that. And then you look at people like Jean-Michel Jarre, who still does it today. He's actually custom developed what's that, Andy? What's that app he uses for his touchscreen that does the MIDI?
TouchOsk?
No, it's an L something.
There are a few out there.
Oh, Lima.
It might be Lima, Lima.
He might have had a Lemur.
Because that's customized.
Lemur was a standalone, then they made an iPad version. Then it's gone. So
I've still got it actually. So if you haven't deleted it, keep it, guys. But I'm pretty sure he uses Lima and that control. He does a lot of control stuff, touch stuff in his performances as well. So there is, Henrik, you're right. There is stuff out there, but it's very customized, right? A lot of people are customizing it. Yeah. Hey, there's a big
donation.
Big donation from Robert. Good on you, Robert. Hello, everybody. First time here. Shame on me. No, it's no shame. You've got to be first. You know what? Use that. Say it's my first day. Use that every day for the next 2 or 3 weeks. You'll get away with murder, mate. It's my first day.
Yes.
Thanks for the £5, mate. Good on you.
Cheers.
Yeah, big hello to anyone who's new on the channel. Do appreciate your watching, and do jump in and let us know what you think. If you do have an idea of what I'm looking for, or maybe it might help Daren with his next rig that he wants to set up, even though he hasn't finished that one.
I finished this one. If you've noticed, I have rig live set 2, and it has A, B, and C. So yeah, it's
You didn't run out of hot glue.
C being the all singing, all dancing.
Does it
the
work?
glue,
Though?
that's it's completely glued up. Yes, it does.
Oh, it's working.
So live rig B is what I'll be taking when we do the Blackpool emo. A is slightly smaller, and C is all singing, all dancing, where I need a truck and everything else to cart it.
Yeah, I mean, like what I'm saying is that Steve Elbows is on the money here. You could. This is what I'm saying. You can do this if you customize it, or there is the technology to do all this right now. There's software out there that does it.
You have to build it,
but you've got to build it, or you've got to customize it. Exactly. No one's made. And I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Well, as Hendrik was saying, that's what Birdieman's done, hasn't he? He's basically customized his rig for looping, sampling, you name it. It's complete customized. He's worked with a few people that have come up with software, and
that's the thing.
But
too.
I know what you mean, though, Ranzee. It's like you buy an Akai Force type of thing.
Yep.
With this,
it's like Tim Exile. He had a whole custom rig for a long time, and then he made that program to do live mixing with people and stuff. So
I just remember we talked about what's the guy that's on Sonic State, that he's an English guy but he lives in the US, and his whole music thing is based on the looping system.
Well, that's he's like Tim Exile. That's Jamie Liddell.
Jamie Liddell, right?
Jamie.
So Jamie, and Jamie sort of created a lot of innovation, I guess, in that sense. I mean, the technology was already there. It's not like he invented the technology, but he innovated in the way he used it. This is kind of where I'm going with my point, is that the granular synths have been around since the 1970s. Technically, if you read Google history, it goes all the way back to some of the early computers. So we've got this technology at our fingertips, sampling and live manipulation of sound. It's already there. Like you guys have seen freezing with reverb engines and things like that. It's already here. Someone just needs to bring it all together.
You say according to Google, but remember the words by Einstein. You shouldn't believe everything you read on the internet.
True. Unless
even what Einstein said.
Yeah. Even what
I don't trust that guy. I don't think that guy actually existed.
He was one of those.
Have you not seen, Chris? Have you not seen the latest?
I can tell you
not seen the latest photos from the Indian showing the lunar landers sitting on the moon, and like everyone's saying, well, why would they fake those photos? What have they got to prove from it? So I know you're a person that doesn't believe that man landed on the moon, right?
Over 10 years ago, NASA's LRO already
captured
captured
the film stage. It was all done in the film stage. I know cinema.
Yeah. Let's polarize this channel right now. Who believes that they landed on the moon?
In fact, my friends who worked at NASA, they actually did some analysis on the photos, and you can find the hiking trails of the astronauts on the moon.
Yeah.
They had to hand carry exhibits because they didn't have the buggies.
There's a whole lot of stuff up there. They're always reflecting.
They definitely did
reflectors up there and all sorts of good stuff.
They definitely did TVIs.
A warning. There was a stream I made where I had to leave early, and this is one of the subjects, and it went
for hours
wrong.
I'm about to end the show on this, and everyone's going to go, oh. At least we're not talking about crumpets this week, right?
Crumpets or
I had crumpets
for things, right?
Wait, what?
I had crumpets for lunch, and I had crumpets for dessert.
Yeah, I actually bought, after we did that show, I bought a packet of crumpets and I was like, yum, that was so good.
It's a trypophobia, fear of holes.
Yeah, that's what started it. We were talking about the holes in something.
My housemate has it.
Yep.
The trypophobia thing. She has it.
Yeah, I think you were on the show, Eddie. I'm pretty sure you were.
On the crumpets thing, yes.
On the crumpet show, yeah.
Yes.
That show is going to go down in history, right?
In history, folklore.
As being...
Synth Geekery folklore, the crumpet incident.
All right, now, I have got through...
You pay too much for those.
You guys haven't been paying attention. I've got through a whole show, and I haven't once done anything to do with Star Wars in this whole show.
That's okay. No problem there.
I know there's no problem there, but if I don't...
I have this on, right? But new Star Wars sucks, so it doesn't matter, right?
No, I'm literally going to get downvoted.
What is it?
No, it doesn't.
Andy, are you hyped for the new Alien movie, Romulus?
I am.
I've heard rumors of it, but I haven't followed it.
I definitely am, Darren.
If it's anything like the previous stuff,
like
Prometheus and all that.
All right, guys. Let's head on.
I'm also doing some Star Wars
aliens.
Guys, let's head on over to my
Eddie Alvarez.
episode 113. If you guys want to watch it on the rewatch, we did a show about Star Wars synthesizers, and I just wanted, because it is May the 4th, I did want to sort of throw back to this where I brought the ARP 2600 out, and I did this.
Did you put your microphone into it?
And voila, monsieur. We have a R2D2 patch. And so for those playing along at home, copy where all the patch cables go. Take a little pause the video. No, I'll go through it a little bit with you so you can understand. But I've got this actually firing off on the keyboard, and it sounds a little bit like this. And obviously you can change it a little bit by doing things like this.
That's pretty good.
All right, so there you go. There you go, indeed. That was 113 episode. So what are we now? 249. So it's a long time ago when we did that.
I thought you were going to do the R2D2 Ben Burt microphone trick, where it's
yeah, you can do that.
Did all those weird vocalizations with it
through the envelope follower. Yeah. So what I wanted to quickly mention to you guys is there is so many things that we've done on Synth Geekery over the many years, and you know, Star Wars being May the 4th, May the 4th be with you. That's one of them. And we did talk about Ben Breslin, the guy that was doing sound design and tapping on telegraph poles to make the laser pistol sound.
I thought that was Ben Burt.
Ben Burt, sorry.
It's Ben Burt.
Ben Burt.
Ben Breslin's in the chat.
Ben Breslin's in the chat. Yeah, sorry, Ben. And it's getting late. It's nearly midnight.
You might have done that as well.
Banging those Golden Gate Bridge wires. Yeah.
But this is a segue to mention that next week is my 250th show. So it's a big milestone. Yeah. Quarter of a millennium. Quarter of a mil.
Can you dress up like a quokka on the show?
I probably look like one as it is.
need to have the right smile. Yeah, that's better.
There you go.
Yeah. I got the teeth for it. I've got the teeth for quokkas.
So I do believe Brooksy just said he wants to come back on. So hopefully we'll have him. Nice. But yeah, do come back next week. We'll do a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know what we'll probably find some funny parts in the show that we've done over the years. Maybe we'll bring out the crumpets again. I'm not sure. But 250 shows, and hopefully you guys, will stick around for another 250 more. I know that Sonic State's getting up to about 700-800 or 900 or something. It's pretty crazy what number they've got.
I remember when Sonic State was just audio podcast, no video. Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, I actually remember their 250th show. So, and that was a while ago. You know, that was probably, 5 years ago or so, I guess. So,
They actually had a contest to enter the bumper. We had to make the bumper music. And a bunch of people entered. That was fun.
Yeah, I entered that. Yeah. And they still use that
And
same.
Spong won it.
Yeah. They still use that same song now, don't they?
No, there's a bunch of other stuff they use, but Kent Spong's was the soniccake.com because he couldn't get it to say state.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. You know, we should probably do something like that. But yeah. Anyway, that is my massive, huge contribution to Star Wars sound by just playing what I did a long time ago.
Can I add some additional stuff?
Yeah, go for
I'm
it.
just going to recite some poetry in Bachi. That's such a funny joke.
Formant farts.
That was the VCZ3A in sync mode, by the way, with the B.
Almost sounded like lightsabers.
Almost
Speaking
did.
of Star Wars.
Yes.
It's time to finish the show, my friends.
Use
It
the
is
force.
indeed.
Go on, do it.
I don't even have an American accent.
You don't have to. Alec. No, it's Alec Guinness didn't have an American accent.
Oh, he was English.
No,
wasn't he?
Ah.
Yeah.
Use the force.
Well, I'm not even English. I'm completely.
Don't give in to hate.
Yeah, use the
I can't
force.
believe I'm in this movie.
Do or not do.
Oh my god. Cheers. I
Going
just
off the
been-
rails, this show is.
I've been lately I'm watching everything that I didn't watch, which is most of it, and rewatching the ones I did about the Muppets. Jesus, every time Frank Oz comes in, it's like, because he is Peggy, is Miss Peggy, but he's also Yoda, but she is Miss Peggy and Yoda.
And
you know?
Kermit.
Yeah.
Wasn't he Kermit as well?
Frank
Kes-
Oz, yeah.
No, Kermit is
Oh no,
Hansen.
Jim. That's right. Yeah, Jim.
Handsome.
Yeah. Ah dear.
But I think Fozzie was also him.
Yeah, he did a lot of voices.
Wasn't there something funny about Jar Jar that came out the other day? That they were saying that
Everything about Jar Jar Binks is funny.
there was a girl that came up with it or something. I don't know. There was something weird that I read on. I mean, it's obviously there's a whole bunch of Star Wars stuff coming out today. Probably because really the May the 4th stuff probably hits the US now, and it'll be all coming out now. We'll be reading about it on May the 5th in Australia because that's how it is over where we live.
In fact, wait, it's about to come. Yeah, well,
It is now May the 5th.
It's coming out.
Yeah. Yes.
No, it is.
Yeah.
So I was at
It's really
Galaxy's
fast.
Edge last year for the Disney, the Star Wars Disney stuff, and all the Kylo Ren character, and it's so silly. I mean,
Yeah.
I like some of that stuff still, but being in the moment, it's just the ultimate super nerd kind of.
Yeah, I remember
circle
that.
jerk.
I remember that live stream you did. That was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, with the guys harassing he's like harassing people in the crowd.
Yeah, and no,
I
didn't
didn't
she
post
run?
the one video. Actually, I was
She
wearing
ran
the
past you,
shirt,
didn't
and
she?
I went up to the stormtroopers and I said, "Hey, I'm a big fan." And he goes, "Keep up the good work," in his little voice. It's just silly.
in the lo-fi
What
voice.
else?
So,
Yes.
yeah.
What else are they gonna say to the 1,000 people who says them so?
Well, I mean, you're
Come
giving
on
them
now.
money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to
You're
say
paying
whatever
their
makes you
bills.
happy because you're giving them money.
Exactly.
You're keeping their jobs employed.
Just
Lots
Just let me share my testimony. I rather have the new trilogy than the edited old trilogy. That's it. Mic drop.
I've
Well,
got the DVD
you
somewhere.
Get
The original.
you can get the despecialized edition, which is great, and you can also get the anti-Jar Jar cut, where they cut all of Jar Jar out of it.
Oh, really?
I like Jar Jar.
Oh yeah,
I
Oh,
like it.
Yeah.
They did it.
it's all online. You
feelings
can find
hurt.
them online.
the best part of the
The
Jar
specialized
Jar
edition is great.
was when he was actually doing the fighting, because some of those fighting things he did was pretty, he was pretty good in those fights.
Martial arts, yeah.
Yeah. That's when I liked him the most.
Accidentally good.
Yeah. But the other,
Shut up.
Just like
the clumsy stuff I didn't like.
No.
Anyway.
Wait,
All right, guys.
everything
We're going
he
to
did
end the
was
show.
fancy. What?
We are ending the show. That's it. Time's up. I've got all the samples here if you want. I've got the... You know. Yeah, exactly. Do it. All right, boys. We're going to go. Say hi to your mum. Press record, all that sort of stuff. Bye-bye.
And see you tonight if you come around.
Check out Henrik's show.
Now.
Yep. See you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Daren. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, Henrik.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Eddie.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Andy, Chris,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Eddie, Dan's. Bye-bye.